We're going. I like the aggression. Dude, let me drop the great bar. You can go tell all those guys up there they can suck in.
What we're about to do is not a good idea.
Oh, good. What is he doing? You've got to be kidding me.
Half the pack is flying apart.
It's so nice to see you at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Jump. Coming to light.
Hello, come back on him.
That was incredible.
Dude, nobody better. Nobody. Hell yeah, guys.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to NWP. Oh, there's the co-host, but I feel like there should be one more. Wait, what's going on? There's four of us this week.
Whoa!
Oh! Hey! I had it first.
I got one sent to me from the friends at Chicago, Chicagoland.
I felt left out during the pre-race. I was the only one without any racing merch on, so I found an old Winston era hat. So now I feel right at home after missing last week's show. It's good to see you guys.
Michael did the thing where he just now loaded in for me, so I have no clue what he said, and I have no hat. I do have a racing shirt though.
Now
It's
you're
okay.
the only one without a hat.
You have a beautiful head of hair, Danny. That
That I do. I
That is
just
true.
need to enjoy this for as long as I have it.
yeah.
That's a way of spelling my name that I've never seen before. Moobs.
Well, welcome on in, everybody, to another episode of NWB. I don't know the number of this one. I literally just count out the hundreds for episodes now. Like once we get to a new 100, we'll count it out. But it's episode, I think this is actually the halfway point of our season. The more I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, if you count the exhibition races, yeah, we're probably about halfway
Hey,
through.
you're probably right.
Yeah.
Race
So,
number 18 this weekend.
Yeah, this is actually the start of the second half of our season because we have 42 episodes this year, and this is episode 22. Damn, the season's flying by.
That's going quick.
Well, and you know who else went quick, at least quick while fuel saving, was Chase Briscoe, who I'm happy for him, but I already know there's going to be discourse on how he won and how the guys behind him didn't win. But Michael, I want to start with you on just overall with Pocono because you were there. And I don't know about where you were sitting or what your view was, but on TV, on Prime, that place looked packed.
Well, okay. So I got to clarify. I was only there on Friday, but
Still looked packed.
I could tell you, I used to go to Pocono every Saturday. I'm going to say my dad would take me 2012. I think we did it for like 3 or 4 years. Every Saturday we'd go to the practice sessions and qualifying and everything. I have never seen Pocono the way I saw it on Friday. Friday was a mob scene. The infield, I got pit pass, garage pass from Cody Dennison because him and I have been friends for a while. And thank you, Cody, for setting me up with that. And I've never seen the infield like that. It was crazy how many people were camping. It was a pretty cool place to be.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some people posting like on Wednesday that the infield was almost all the way full. Like die hard base out there in the Poconos. Let's get to the race though, the Cup race. Chase Briscoe gets the win in a partially fuel saving, partially aero blocking masterclass. Whichever way you want to talk about it, whether it's positive for it or negative about the car, you have your talking point this week. And so, Eric, I'll start with you on this. Briscoe getting the win. What's the takeaway you have from it? Outside, like it can be outside any of that. It can be one of those. What's the takeaway?
So I know we'll talk about the car. I don't want to start with the car in this case because I do want to celebrate a milestone win for Chase Briscoe. Getting that first win with a new team is such a weight off your shoulders, off anyone's shoulders. But getting that first win for Joe Gibbs Racing, one of the top 2 or 3 organizations in the NASCAR Cup Series. It might have been, I forget who shared the graphic, might have been Daniel Cespedes on Twitter this week, shared the graphic that showed, when drivers got their first wins with JGR. And you would have thought, what, 16, 17 races? Oh, that's got to be one of the quickest guys, right? No, guys usually win at JGR. Matt Kenseth won there in his 3rd race. Christopher Bell in his 2nd. Like, guys, when they get to Joe Gibbs Racing, are expected to win right away. And while Briscoe has been solid this year, they hadn't really shown winning speed. They hadn't put a full race together. They almost choked Pocono away. Briscoe didn't wait on fuel the final pit stop, but he made up for it by driving a flawless final 30-plus laps. So before we talk about any car stuff, I at least want to acknowledge Chase Briscoe did a really, really good job at the end of that race and deserves full credit for the win.
What do you think, Danny?
I just gotta say one thing, Eric. For a second, I thought you were literally wearing a Chase Briscoe shirt. I thought it said Briscoe at the top.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I thought that's what it said.
No,
but I realized halfway through, I was like, oh, that's Briscoe.
Briscoe. Yeah, well, it can be whatever you want it to be.
But yeah, no, I'm happy for Chase Briscoe. I was, for the show purposes, I had a vested interest in Denny Hamlin to win the race, so I was pulling for him at the end. I literally, every pick I had this weekend got the pole, but something went wrong and they didn't win the race somehow. That was a bummer of a weekend for the pick points. But no, I mean, I'm happy for Briscoe, but I mean, his crew chief was so worried, like he was like, dude, we're not gonna make it. We don't have enough gas. This is not gonna work out. And then somehow, some way, he does. And Hamlin, who's obviously in a better position to push the limit more so than he was, couldn't ever get to a point he could try to pass him, and that's disappointing.
So yeah, I think on my end with it, Briscoe, I do agree. I think he put on a masterclass of fuel saving, which at Pocono, I get that it's known for those strategy calls, those fuel mileage races, all of that. But that is a long time. I think it was 6 laps that they calculated he was behind. And he did, I think, run out during the burnout. It wasn't like he burned it out around the entire track and never had to worry. Like, he actually did run out pretty quick after the race.
Hey, that's 2 miles back around. That's a long way
did he
to
have
go.
a flat? He might have had a flat too with that too, but he did run out, I believe, at one point. But to save that much gas over that much time, I mean, that is impressive. I do think, though, the big thing is to talk on the other side is the aero game. It's what we come to expect, I think, with the next gen. He was going, 60% at some points, 70%. Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney are going all out. And it's like that buffer of that little beach ball, right? Except in this case, it's like a giant inflatable, hot dog or something in the way. It's so damn big. I know NASCAR is going to get me on that one. It constantly just pushed. It was like it pushed the other cars back every time. It pushed Hamlin back every time he was getting closer to there. And I, as much as I feel good for Briscoe, and I think that he did drive a hell of a race at the end there, at the same time, like, it's so hard to overlook it at this point. I mean, this, I get it's Pocono and that the aero problems have been at Pocono forever. It's such a big track. You go that speed, aero will always be an issue. They're talking about it in the 2000s when I started watching. They were talking about it in the 90s before I was born. Like, they were talking about that forever. But, I don't think we've ever seen it really look that insanely prevalent for somebody saving fuel compared to somebody going full bore.
Yeah, that's the first time I can think of somebody supposedly, again, saving 4, 5, 6 laps of gas under green and yet still holding the lead. And, I see the conspiracy theorists. Oh, well, Joe Gibbs Racing wanted Briscoe to win into the playoffs, so Hamlin wasn't going 100%. Okay, explain Ryan Blaney in third, unable to pass them both. He's the best car on long runs all year long, had no incentive to let those 2 guys lead this race, yet he couldn't pass them either. Yeah, Pocono's just, it used to be my least favorite track on the schedule. The in-person experience when I first went a few years ago, I haven't been as many times as you, Michael, but when I went in 2022, 2, that's when I went for the first time. I was blown away by the atmosphere, the fan turnout. The facility was nostalgic in a weird way, even though I'd never been before. So I found a newfound appreciation for Pocono, but the on-track racing is still not great. There've been some flashy moments, and even this race in stage 2 with all the restarts, all the action, it was exciting at times, but it's just so hard to pass here. The long straightaways, the flat corners, the tunnel turns a one groove route where dirty air is going to cloud the second place car at all times. It's just not a great racetrack for stock cars from an action perspective. And that, like you kind of said, Jared, has been the case since I've been watching in 2004, frankly.
Yeah, there's a reason why I haven't been to Pocono in quite a while. It's because it's such a better watch on TV, and even that is a little bit of a stretch. Like, yeah, there's not a whole lot of passing ever really going on there. It's usually boiling down to fuel mileage in some capacity. So yeah, I usually go to Dover now, but the next gen killed that track too. So I'm just going to go and watch cars run in a single file line no matter where I go around here. But no, Pocono is a really cool place. They've put a lot of money into it and upgraded the facility like a ton from when I first started going there to now. I look at it more as like one of the party capitals on the NASCAR schedule. If that's what you're into, you want to go to a race and you want to have a good time, Pocono is a place to do that for sure.
Sorry. I don't know why. I have like a frog in my throat or something.
Okay, just choked up over beautiful triangular racing.
we just miss our good old Pocono. Oh my gosh.
I will say though, kind of getting back to more of the racing side of it though, is one of the takes I've seen become more prevalent, and I can't help but just like it. I don't know why it just irritates me more than I think a lot of other ones. Are a lot of people when they talk about because Pocono, like, okay, I can get it. Indianapolis, same thing. Like, I'd get people talking about it, like, oh, if it's these tracks, the cars have been like, the Gen 6 was not great either. The COT had a ton of issues. Even late stage Gen 4 racing had tons of more aero issue once they were more figuring out different things with it. But this idea that I've seen so many fans and some NASCAR media say, like, maybe it's just time we accept like what it is and we just stop complaining about the issue. It's like, no, that's not at all the way to go about it. Like, I don't want, because I've noticed a little bit more almost complacency, like, we're stuck with it. We might as well just make the best of it. And it's like, no, that stuff sucks. Well, of course, call it out. Because I honestly think Pocono with the next gen early on, I thought those races actually were a lot more interesting than people give it credit for. Like, I thought 22 and 23 were actually a lot better than people gave it credit for. Throughout the day, finish was pretty interesting. Now, granted, there were short runs with it too, so I see that. Last year, I think was a step down. This, I think, was a step down from that, though it did have its points and its times. And Pocono is an insanely difficult track, hence why we see so many crashes there, whether it be in the tunnel turn, whether it be off a turn one or wherever. You see the same thing in the Xfinity series. It's so frustrating to see like something that shouldn't happen, like that finish. Like as much as I like Briscoe winning, like that should not have happened. Like, they should have been able to pass him at the speeds he was going.
What was everyone's opinion on the Xfinity race? Because I thought that was the best race of the weekend. They can once again show that they can pass on the tracks that the Cup cars can't pass on. I think it's a superior car.
Yeah.
The COT truthers love that.
I mean, it's hard to deny the side-by-side racing in the Xfinity series nowadays. A lot of these bigger tracks especially is wildly entertaining. Some of that's the quality of the field too. You got guys making more mistakes and slipping here and there, but a lot of that is the car allows for those kinds of mistakes. The next gen car is so gripped up now, especially in clean air, that Chase Briscoe can lift 100 yards early and coast through the corners. I think he stopped shifting at one point, and clean air all that aero grip, he was able to still set really fast lap times, which is just, no, to Derek's point, I don't think I've ever seen someone save that much fuel and hold position like that ever in any car in any series that I'm aware of. So some red flags flying, but it's a new week. Going to road course next. More fuel strategy talk.
Where some red flags were flying was 2311 this past week. Had just an absolute nightmare, right? I have the finishing order going across the bottom, and like I don't even think I can wait that long or stall that long talking.
Still waiting. Where they at
for them?
Where are we going? Where's Reddick? 30th?
Cody
30,
where?
Nope. 31st maybe? No, not 31st.
No, that's SVG.
30. Yeah, well, he had his own issue. There we go. 32nd.
Damn.
That's the best finishing car.
Where's the other?
2311.
Where's he at? There's Bubba Wallace, 36th and 37th for Herbst. I mean, that we expected that, but
that's just.
Do you know how often I forget Herbst is even out there? I did a short like a week or so ago where I was talking about NASCAR repossessing the 2 charters that 2311 has. I completely forgot that there was a third.
It has been such a rough year for all 2311 driver fans, but especially if you are somehow a Herbst fan. I saw I saw a meme this week and I sent it to Jarrett. I don't want to talk about it too much, but it was a clip from The Last of Us, and 2 guys were having an argument, and it said Bubba and Reddick fans, and they turn around and there's a deceased person that said Herbst fans.
That's the one where they find Frank and he's just hanging.
Oh, gosh, they've already buried themselves.
And the funniest part is it doesn't play the whole scene, but you have Joel, who I think is supposed to be the Reddick fans, turn around and just go, Christ.
Like, oh, we forgot about you over there.
And that's just in a nutshell what the year's been. But this week was just like,
how do you miss the whole company? Just blatantly missed the setup. Like, I don't know what they ran the wrong. It sounds like they only get like 2 or 3 different brake packages to even choose from. Did they just pick the wrong one or woefully mess up some other part of their setup?
The owner Hamlin is so good at this kind of track.
You didn't run this by him before you
make any sense.
Before you put it on the car.
Well, the craziest part for me was I don't know the last time, if I ever have. It's been a while. I've watched this sport consecutively for what now? We're on year 21. And I don't think I can ever remember somebody being so bad. I remember people being so bad they spent like 5 laps on pit road. I remember Dale Jr. doing that. He sucked so bad there one year. I don't ever remember somebody pulling it into the freaking garage under caution to change out an entire brake package and then go back out without a problem.
He only lost like 2 laps in that exchange. Like Reddick almost got back on the lead lap by the end of this race, despite going behind the wall at one point. That's how they were prepared at that point. After Bubba and Riley blew their brakes, they were ready to fix Reddick's whenever he came in.
They damn well better be at that point.
Yeah, it's been a weird year for 23 because like Riley's a rookie and nobody had any expectations for him, so we'll put that aside. Bubba Wallace is actually having statistically one of his better seasons, which doesn't say a lot about Bubba's career up to this point, but it's just worth noting. Like, they've actually been okay. Reddick is the head scratcher because this time last year, I think he already had at least 1 or 2 wins, was borderline, was competing for the regular season championship, which he ultimately won at the end of the summer. And right now he's not in either of those pictures. He's winless and is like 8th in points, like a million points behind William Byron right now. No shot at the regular season title. So they've lost the speed and they've lost the consistency. That's not a great combo for the 45 bunch.
Well, and I wanted to pull up on my end really quick. His you look at the stat line this year, and it's just insane how far off that. Like, because we are 1 race away from the halfway point of the season. Like, Atlanta on Saturday night is halfway. So far in 17 races, he has 3 top 5s and 5 top 10s on the year.
I'm looking at it too.
15th
he's on pace to have less than half of the numbers he had last year.
10 top 10s for the year. That's the pace.
3-12-21. That was the win top 5, top 10 mark for Reddick last year. And right now he's on pace. You know, if he were to continue at the pace he's going for 0-6-10, which would be the worst he's had since 2020. which is nuts to say. And wow, it's crazy. This will actually be his 200th start this Saturday. Holy crap. But to be that far off, and then you add in, and we can put it down here on the bottom too, like with the points and the way they go. He is a long way up. We'll talk about that buffer in a bit. We have a whole graphic and everything for it now. Yippee. We'll talk about it in a bit, but that's not something that's permanent with the way this schedule is, with the way it lays out, with road courses and with super speedways and with short tracks that can be crazy. You never know what the weather can do at this point this summer. The only place in freaking America it was raining was Pocono this week. Seriously, Jeff Gluck put that up there.
I'll just say this about Reddick. The alarm started blaring for me when they rolled up to Mexico City last week. And on Saturday, he said bluntly, we missed it. And they did. They were irrelevant that whole race. He's one of the best road course racers in this car. RCR 2311 does not matter. He's won with both teams. He is a great road racer. They had 20th place speed at Mexico City. Alarms should be going off. They are slumping right now.
I every week post our picks on Twitter. Like for truck, Xfinity Cup, whatever race it is, a couple hours for the race, unless I forget, and then Danny has to remind me. I post them on Twitter every week, right? And this week, everyone was complaining. Why do you guys keep picking all the Hendrick guys? Why do you keep picking all the Gibbs guys? Why is Blaney picked? Why aren't you picking Tyler Reddick? This is why.
They're the only ones that win.
Wait, because we want to win the game.
Yeah.
You play to win the game. And
guys, I'm going to pick Cody Ware this week because I want to.
I mean, depending on what way 2311 goes, you might actually have a better shot than if you pick some of them. Maybe even her.
Hey, Cody Ware outran all three 2311 guys this day.
Hang the banner, Jarrett.
Yep. Hang the banner. We beat the worst team of the week.
We need a sound effect.
2 wins that aren't Hendrick, Gibbs, or Penske this year. And those 2 belong to Trackhouse.
Yeah, so, I guess that's right.
Which is basically an extension of one of the good teams now.
Well, they have some really good drivers.
Speaking of one of the guys who's not on the good team, Kyle Busch just loses it.
He's just it's not good.
Is he cooked?
I'm not going to say that because
he's cooked. Come on.
Well, okay, he's not. I don't think he's ever going to be a championship contender.
I don't think. Yeah, I think it's over.
That part, I don't think he ever wins a championship with RCR. I'll say that definitively. But I think he can still win a race or two. I want to see how he runs at Chicago.
Might even be this weekend.
Or this weekend. I think he has really good numbers at Atlanta. It is a drafting track. Who knows? But he was really good at COTA in March. So I want to see how he does at these road course races. Mexico City, he wrecked himself in the rain because he was impatient. Should have just waited for it to dry up a bit before pushing, but he's Kyle Busch. Hasn't evolved apparently in 20 years of driving in the Cup Series. But I want to see how he does at the road course before I say he's totally cooked and is like not a playoff contender. But no, Pocono was another mistake. He just is trying to drive a 20th place car into the top 10. And that's really hard to do in the next gen where the line is razor thin. It's easy to cross. And if you do, you're wrecked. You can't like hang it out loose and save it unless you're Carson Hocevar and you get the assistance of the turn 3 wall. That helped out, I guess. But this car is so edgy and that's not Kyle Busch's wheelhouse right now. So it's just a bad deal. It's a bad situation all around.
At the same time, though, for Kyle Busch, he did get a truck win this year at Atlanta, but he has also stepped into other truck series races with race winning equipment and done subpar down there. And I don't know, has he done an Xfinity this year? I'm struggling to remember.
No. I don't think he has. Colleague, maybe? Has he done any colleague races? I don't think so.
I'd like to see him hop into the 9 for Junior Motorsports. That's what I'd like to see happen.
Ooh.
I mean, I want to see him be in a good car, and we're not going to at least until 2027 because he signed back with RCR for next year. So
what was the pitch? How did they get him to come back for more?
It's us or Rick Ware was probably the pitch.
Yeah. There's like not a lot of.
Honestly, if it wasn't RCR, what are the options for him?
That was the thing. There were no options really for this year. I mean, Trackhouse is the only team that might have an opening, but they're going to give that to Zilich if they do.
Yeah. So if it was 2 years ago, Trackhouse might have took him, but now the door's shut.
I think now going from 2026 into 2027. So this time next year, I think there will be some openings and there could be some real conversations. But Kyle Busch needs to win a race between now and then, or else I don't see a top team wanting to.
Yeah, why would you want a driver who looks like I'm looking
I would
at?
rather have Chase Briscoe right now than Kyle Busch.
You would look at Kyle Busch and say, "Well, I'm just looking at 2018 Jimmy Johnson now."
But you're looking at somebody.
No, you have to admit that's a good reference.
But you
I'll
also
admit
have to
it's a
say
good
too.
reference.
You also got to say too, like this is a driver who, by the time he's going into a free agent year, will be signing for his age 42 season.
Exactly. That's why it's like I look around. Like we'll see how Austin Cindric develops. He could be one of those drivers on the hot seat. You never know. We'll see how Alex Bowman and Hendrick evolve if they can, win a race or two.
Alex is getting fired 2 weeks ago, and then he has top 10 performance 2 races in a row. So
He has been. That's fair. So like those maybe could be options, but like I'm saying, like Kyle Busch, you're right, would be 42, likely winless for 3-4 years in a row. Like I don't know. I'd take a chance on a young guy, perhaps.
Well,
I don't know.
Even at that point, like Kyle Busch is probably, if he's going to win on a super speedway.
Maybe a road course. I don't want to rule that out.
Yeah, it's possible.
Don't forget he was legitimately contending at Coda earlier this year. So
fair, very fair, and he probably should have won that race had that last caution not come out. I will give you that. It's just where there's nothing consistently we're seeing from him ever. Like we're not seeing consistent top 10 speed. We're not even seeing consistent like DNFing all the time, and running in the 30s speed. Like that team is just like a dart without feathers at this point. And
they're fluky.
You're wasting
all over the
his
place.
golden years. I mean, you're Kyle Busch, I think in 2023, if he had stayed at JGR, could have won a championship. He won 3 races with RCR in the first 13 races or 14 races, whatever it was of the year. Like that was a guy who was still good, who was still there. I don't know if I could see that anymore. Like 3 years later, with the way the age cliff can be, with how close things are now. So anytime there's something, plus you have a car that like you were saying, Eric, doesn't hit his way that he can drive. You don't have the practice that he excels at so well. Like I just don't see the upside at this point. I feel like at this point, he's just waiting it out until Brexton is old enough to share a truck with him. Like that's what it feels like.
RCR, I hate to make this comparison with my own team, but RCR is like the Tennessee Titans of NASCAR. Because anytime we get who was a good wide receiver, essentially they've come there for their career to die. And now NASCAR drivers, if they go to RCR late in their career, i.e., a Ryan Newman, a Kyle Busch, you're going there because your career is at the end.
Ryan Newman almost won a championship with RCR. Hey, let's throw that out there.
Okay, but do you want to talk about the rest of his time at RCR after that?
Hey, I think at this point, Kyle Busch would trade his firstborn son for a championship 4 spot, but that would
Kyle Busch won 3 races his first year for RCR. They can have one good year right off the bat with each other, but after that, like Jarrett said, it's down.
That's fair.
Well, I think not to just heap all this on Bushy. He has had moments, but then he like oversteps the line, like Texas.
Yeah,
like he was third or fourth. He was running down the lead. He was up front late in the race, and then he tripped on his dick and he threw it in the wall and spun down the pit road. And the same thing happened at Kansas in the fall. Like there's ability there when he gets the right car every so often. But yeah, I think it's him in this car. It does not jive.
It's a good word to use. I agree.
Now on some of the other points today, we had somebody who's older and in that Kyle Busch generation that actually did run well on Sunday. And that was Brad Keselowski.
Brad Keselowski's he's got 3 top 10s in 5 weeks. I'm not calling it a comeback just yet, but like
playoffs.
But that was until
got him. He's in my playoffs.
He went down pit road.
We're talking playoffs.
We're talking playoffs.
He went down pit road before pit road was open.
Yeah, and he could have won this week, honestly.
Yeah, I mean that he lost the race there because he made his way back up and he did recover and he was trying throughout the rest of the day to get up there, but they had to keep doing different strategies to get up there, go off sequence, do different things like that, where he had control of the race close to halfway through this thing.
Yeah, and I didn't
then
hear. I saw that Jeremy Bolins was on Sirius. I didn't listen to the full clip, but I did listen to his radio broadcast during the incident itself when they pitted on a closed pit road, and it kind of just sounded like the crew chief had a brain fart and just sort of said, all right, we'll pit this time, without ever actually hearing if pit road was open or not. And then Brad, you got to use your eyes and see that there's a blinking red light and maybe not drive onto pit road then. But also at that point, he's probably on autopilot, because when he hears pit this time, he's pitting this time. He's trusting the guys and at the shop and on the roof and on the box who have a clearer view of things. So it's just a weird lackadaisical lack of focus that you just can't have when you're a team in their position, where you're not going to have winning speed most weeks. When you do, like they did at Pocono, you can't throw it away like that. Like, come on, that's just inexcusable mistake. Speaking
of throwing away stuff, this is why I check Twitter during the show a lot, because I'm always looking for anything that's breaking. And we have not necessarily a breaking news, but it's pretty interesting news that Bob Pockers just put out. Former Ricky Stenhouse spotter Tab Boyd is now on the roster as spotter for Christopher Bell this weekend at Atlanta.
All right, let's talk about a glow up.
Yeah, talk about a promotion right there.
Wow.
Bail upwards, the NASCAR way, man.
Kyle Larson 2.0.
I mean, that's a similar equivalent upgrade. I will say that.
I mean, honestly, like, I don't agree with the way he worded his Mexico City posts, and it was dumb to disparage the city that your team and sport are spending millions of dollars to try and win over. It was dumb, not a fireable offense in my opinion.
Yeah,
and so I'm at least glad that he's found a new job. It's crazy that it sounds like it might be a better job.
Which Christopher Bell, I do think maybe a little change at spotter would help him a little bit too.
Didn't he just have his spotter like up and quit?
Yeah, pretty much.
So
he had a different spotter for like the last week or two. So this is his third spotter of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Now, kind of getting back to Pocono, I do want to bring up someone else, or a few others, I should say, that actually did pretty well. I think Michael might like this a bit more. Legacy Motor Club is actually looking competitive this year.
It's shocking, isn't it? That's pretty cool.
In a good way. In a pretty good way. I mean,
hey, I'm excited. I think I might be turning in my Hendrick hat soon. I think I might be picking up I mean, I've supported Jim. I'll call him Jimmy. I'll take it easy tonight.
No,
then you
let it out.
Possibly
let it out. Let it out.
Jimmy. I supported him, doing this whole ownership thing. I thought was a little bit weird. I never saw him doing that, but Legacy, it's been pretty freaking hard ever since he came into the picture. But now all of a sudden, I don't know what has changed, but he's found a good set of people, it seems like, and they're headed in the right direction. Like, this isn't just a fluke. Like, the Coke 600 kind of came out of nowhere, where they were, John Hunter was in the top 5 for so much of the night. No, they're like every single week now. They got top 15 speed.
Yeah, I think both finished top 15 this time around. Nemechek has back-to-back 6th place finishes. Look at great graphic on the screen around. Nemechek has more top 10s than Logano, Busch. Off the top of my head, I know it's more than like Osavar, Barry, like Reddick. Like, those are good drivers that Nemechek and even to some extent Eric Jones are outrunning. Jones, again, more consistent. I think he's like 18th in points, something like that. But Nemechek is having more of those standout moments. I'll do a quick shameless plug. I have an interview with John Hunter Nemechek coming out on the show on my channel tomorrow afternoon. So stay tuned to that. I'm on your side though, Michael. I know you're a Jimmy guy, and he's obviously running the show over there. But my guy, Matt Kenseth, is still on board as an advisor,
he's a part of it too.
A driver, coach. And on my flight home from Washington, D.C. this weekend, I was listening to Kenseth and Jimmy on Jimmy's the podcast he does with Marty Smith. And it was cool. It was like kind of crazy to see these two guys now. And I guess, I don't know if Jimmy's in his 50s yet. I know Kenseth is. Older guys, semi or fully retired drivers now, completely in new unorthodox roles, but finally seemingly having some signs of success. with Legacy Motor Club. So it's very exciting to see that we have another kind of up and coming race team now showing out from time to time. Like, that's great. I don't want to see guys running 35th every week. I want to see these teams show flashes, and Legacy Motor Club is doing just that the past few weeks. So that's very encouraging.
It's the closest they've been to that first year before they switched over to Toyota. Like, remember the start of that year, they were competing for wins, had winning speed the first, I would say, probably half or so of that year. And I don't think that they may have like winning speed just yet. And in fact, they had some in the second half of the year too, if you look at Darlington. But at the same token, like, this is the improvement like we've all been asking to see. Like, okay, yeah, you guys are making all these moves. You just hired another head of XYZ department.
Yeah, seriously.
You know? But they're actually taking those steps. And the thing is, it's not just
they're going to hire a janitor and call him head of cleanliness or something like that.
CEO of Mr. Clean.
It's starting to work. The mad plan is coming together. But the thing is it's not like they're just lucking into finishes either. Like, John Hunter Nemechek has run relatively decent for a good part of this year. Eric Jones is scoring stage points, so it's not like he's running 20th and then they had some pitch strategy or something. They're like, no, he's running kind of that borderline top 10, top 15 range that a lot of those teams that are in that area in the points run, except that he's doing it more consistently. It kind of reminds me of like a 2019 to 2020, 2021 range front row, where you're starting to see that improvement. They struggled for a while. They're like that 30th place team for a while, and now they're getting to the top 25. Now they're getting some top 20s and borderline top 20 in points, or top 20 in points, not just borderline. And to me, like, that's what I've been wanting to see. I want to see them get closer to 23-11 rather than get closer to, you name whatever team that's 25th.
I mean, last year they were like 29th and 34th in points or something like that. And right now they're both flirting with the top 20. Like, they are plus like 10 to 12 positions each in points, which is just crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, like, the way the season started, it looked like more of the same. They had nothing to start the year. It was a continuation of last year. And then you're like asking, okay, what are you hiring a head of janitorial services for? It's not helping the end result whatsoever. So now I don't know what it is, but they're figuring it out, and they're getting closer to the other Toyota teams. So, like, now this manufacturer change maybe is starting to make a little bit of sense.
I'll say this before we move on. I mean, you're right, Michael, that they struggled the first few weeks after Daytona, all three cars, including Jimmy, finished in the top 12.
Oh, man.
That was the turnaround moment. That race, all of a sudden, they believed for the first time in over a year.
That might, you know what? His third place finish might have propelled what we're seeing right now. It's like, we're not losers. We can. We can do this.
Third runner-up.
As a Jimmy fan, Jimmy, I'll take it. I will take anything. Did we watch Charlotte? Did we watch the Coke 600? How many? Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to tell you exactly some statistics right now.
Oh,
I got it up on the screen. All right. How many DNFs out of the last however many results? How much suffering have I gone through?
We're here to listen.
He's just going through an average Dale Jr. 2009.
Oh, wow, look at all these crashes. All right.
Look at all the red on the
right.
screen.
That's a lot of red. Yeah. So since he stepped into the 84, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 DNFs, including 0 laps completed at Coda.
God, that's right.
That's
I remember
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 races. So 6 DNFs. Out of 14 races, he has 1, 2, 3 finishes on the lead lap.
That's huge.
That third, I'm telling you, that third was a freaking miracle. It filled my heart like 10 times the regular size. And if he never ran another race after that, I would have been fine. But then he ran Charlotte, and now I'm sad again.
Just checking. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, someone said I'm on mute. I'm like, I'm not on mute.
I was about to say, what knowledge are you trying to drop on us, Danny?
Well, kind of to close out before we get to like poll points, ratings, all of that, there is one last thing of a little finality that we can talk about, and that is NASCAR on Prime. They closed out their 5-week run as I hit the camera. They closed out their 5-week run with NASCAR from the 600 to Pocono. I know going into it, a lot of people had some trepidation about them, and
That's a big word.
Yes.
I like that.
Hang the banner. And I know that there was a lot of discourse after Charlotte and all of that, but I don't care if you have to blurt it out or what order we go on this. What grade letter wise would you give Prime this year? Because I'm going
B plus.
Oh, a B? Danny B?
But a solid B plus. It was fantastic, but there's always some room for improvement, and I don't want to give them an A right off the bat on their first try.
All right. Well, on my Sunday night show, I said A-, and the only reason I gave him a minus was because I still don't love the flow of the post-race show. I love when they finally get to the sit-down long-form interviews. That's great, but everything that happens between the checkered flag and those sit-down interviews is all out of whack. Not what I want to see. So I hope they continue to evolve their post-race coverage a bit.
Y'all are acting like I gave them an F. A B plus, it's like an 89. Okay, what do you want me to say?
I was going to go instantly. My mind went to A-. There were multiple interviews where, I don't know, they needed a different microphone, man. You couldn't hear a damn thing. It was nothing but car noise. And the post-race show got me so excited. I felt like I was watching Speed Channel in the mid-2000s again. It felt like race day built by the Home Depot at the racetrack with all the fans behind them.
Hey,
it was great.
The crowd at Pocono for that looked the best it had been all year.
Yeah.
And I wish that all of them would have looked like that. Well, I don't remember. How was it in Mexico City? I don't really remember that.
They didn't place the stage right.
Yeah, that
all
was
of them.
Yeah, they didn't have like a stands behind them there.
When I saw it at Nashville, like there would be like a small handful of people show up to it. Not that many people actually came to it. We've been in the infield, not a lot of fans get access there in the first place. But
Charlotte, Charlotte was good. They put it on the front stretch right around where all the fans were taking photos in the grass. That looked really good.
I walked past the stage. It was in the infield at Pocono, and so it was packed full of people.
Looked like it was
so easy to.
It looked like it was in more of a fan-friendly area though over there, wasn't it?
So I'd go A more or less because some stuff in the pre and post race like irked me, and I'd go back and I'd watch the post race show after I get done with mine.
Are you a fan of the puppets?
No.
Hey Steve, tell me
I don't
about
know what is going on.
The burn bar, Steve.
I was wondering like who put acid into my water. Like what am I watching?
It does feel a bit out of place. I will agree with you there.
My big thing is, as much as I want, especially the post race, to be really good, and I think that can be streamlined. Outside of that, I really didn't have a problem with anything during the races. There were little things that could be switched up. Like I said, one of my nitpicks was like we should have the starting grid be a bit bigger. Like if you're having something small, maybe put the cars on the side so you'll look at it. You'll have something bigger to look at on screen or something like that. But for me, the pre and post race really doesn't take all that much away from me. I want to see the actual race coverage be good because Fox this past year had a great pre-race for the Daytona 500. Like it was awesome, top tier. And then they sucked all year.
One race is not enough. When these guys did better in 5 than they did in one really big race at the start of the year, that says something.
They didn't do good in the 500. They only did good in the 500 pre-race show. That's all they hit. And so for me, like, I think they can improve some things. Like, I think maybe like they can make the scoring pylon a little more legible for people or things like that. But again, those are little nitpick things in my opinion, because I didn't have that much problem with it, but I saw other people have a problem with it, things like that. Like I can't, for me, that next step, like get to that A+, like iron a few things out, and I don't see any problems from that point forward.
I'll say this, all the on-air talent was superb. I thought everyone sounded natural together. Having Steve Letarte in the booth for multiple fuel mileage races the past few weeks was excellent timing. He's great at that. I thought Corey and Carl with Danielle Trotta in the pre and post race sounded very natural together. Trevor Bayne at times sounded like a deer in the headlights on pit road, but even he got more comfortable. And I like during, I think it was the most recent broadcast, he has like a way with words that Adam Alexander acknowledged. That's charming. Like even Trevor Bayne on pit road, which I think he's fairly new at, really solid. So the on-air talent, which to me is also where Fox has been lacking on all their broadcasts, Amazon was phenomenal. Like there, I would probably give them close to an A+.
This might be sacrilege, especially we're in this hat, but I think the worst performance of the year was just Dale Jr. in stage 1 in the 600, where he was he just kept tripping over himself over and over again.
But he figured it out and he toned it back the rest of the time. So good self-awareness.
They went under commercial break and Steve just went, Dale, pull yourself together, man. Like, come on.
I'm glad we had that segment, though. Yeah.
It wasn't even all that. He just slapped him.
We do get 5 more races of Dale Jr. on a different channel, though.
Well,
and it'll still be Adam Alexander and Letarte. I think
it's basically the same team. I think there's some differences in the pit commentary people, but
the pit reporters, I believe, are Marty Snyder, Daniel Trotta, and Alan Cavana.
Oh, they'll be great. Yeah,
I love all of those three. I love the fact that Alan Cavana is going to have this great opportunity because, like, I feel like he's been somebody that's been waiting in the wings for a good opportunity to come up, and the energy he has for the sport and just the enthusiasm in general he carries. I mean, when we had him on this show, like he fit in the show naturally with us, like he'd been co-hosting it.
He is very comfortable behind a mic in front of the camera, and he'll put the work in. So, and I think that whole group, everyone will be great. The on-air talent, no notes.
Well, and last thing I'll say before we go on to everything else, I tweeted this out and I stand by it that this is the first time in probably 10 to 15 years I'm actually sad seeing the sign off for the year from a broadcaster. Mm-hmm. And I put it was funny. It was the one time I actually ratioed somebody on Twitter, and it was for a positive thing. I quote tweeted the Prime account and I ratioed them with a compliment. I was like, wow, miracles do exist on this hellhole. All right. Well, going on to the last little bits of Pocono here, let's look at least for the Cup Series. We still have the other 2 series to look at. Let's look at the cut line. How about that? Let's look at the cut line for the Cup Series with 9 races to go. And oh boy, it's changed a lot. For those listening, 9 races to go. Buescher up 38, Bubba up 29, Bowman up 20, Priest minus 20. Everybody else is either like 50 plus points ahead or behind. It's win or just you're good for now, basically.
I think Bowman's got to put all his chips on the table trying to repeat at Chicago straight course because it's not looking good for him.
Yeah, I definitely feel like we'll get 1 or 2 more new winners. And now some of those winners could be like a Chris Buescher or even a Bowman, or Bubba Wallace could potentially win a race. So, I don't know that we're going to get like a shocker. We might get 1 or 2. We could get an Allmendinger or McDowell, perhaps. Kyle Busch, maybe this weekend or upcoming. I think
still maybe.
Hocevar, yeah. I mean, I think we will probably get 2 or 3 new winners the final 8 or 9 weeks, whatever we have left, at least. So if I'm looking at the bubble, I think Chris Buescher is probably actually on the bubble right now, and Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman, Priest. I don't want to say must win, but a win would fix all your problems. I talked to Michael McDowell a couple weeks ago, and he said, like, yeah, points racing is great, but a win is worth 2,000 points because you make the playoffs. Yep. So
takes a lot more off your shoulder.
You got to just kind of go for it, I think, if you're most of those guys.
It's just amazing the difference of a couple weeks. A few weeks ago, like we were talking about Bubba, and he's up by 50, 60 some points, and you're like, oh, he's good. And then they completely blow it at
they
Pocono.
Had 3 really bad weeks, and then they had a couple good, and then Pocono was bad.
We were talking about Kyle Busch and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. weeks ago, and now they're not even on this list anymore.
Yeah.
And then you have to add to, the win from Van Gisbergen, that's going to throw a wrench into a lot of those things, and the bad performances on top of all of that. But a few weeks ago, there were about 12 drivers on that graphic, and this week there are 4. That's how
The
quick it
picture-
changes.
The picture's becoming clear, I think, for more and more drivers. Like it's gonna take a win, most likely.
Yeah, how many points positions are we saying are going to make it through? Any? Like one?
I think there will be. If we're like, I think question: how many winners?
There's
how many winners do you
11
think we'll
right
get?
now.
Yeah,
There's
how many
11
winners do you think
total.
you will get?
I could see, though Allmendinger has had really bad luck on the road courses, but I could see him. We got Sonoma, we got Watkins Glen, very good tracks for him, and then you got Chicago. I could see him winning one of them. I have Keselowski winning one because I think they have it in them.
That's the thing. Him showing good speed the last few weeks. That's another. Ty Gibbs has come to life a little bit the last few weeks. I
could see like one points position.
I was gonna say 2.
That's
I
what
think
was
we
going
get to.
with 14.
I think we get to 14 winners. But because like I look around, like Cindric has already won. Barry has a win. Like some of the those are teams that kind of shocked the system last year. The 21-2. They've already got their wins, so it's like okay, so it's going to take multiple road course upsets or a super speedway upset or two.
I think half these 4 guys who were on that cutoff line area. So between Busher, Wallace, Bowman, Priest, I think 2 of those guys will win a race. I don't know what 2, but
I feel good about that.
I could see Bowman just somehow winning a race because he is in Hendrick equipment. And every season since he's came to Hendrick, unless he was injured, something happened midway through the season, he has found a way to make the playoffs, I think. I think that's the stat on him.
Sorry, I've been a little distracted, by the way, and we'll move on in a moment to the next subject. If anyone has been on Twitter right now as we're live recording this, and I've been like live retweeting as much as I can, Carson Hocevar's at Chicagoland Speedway posting stuff every 15 to 10 minutes of photos and everything. And it's looking like a pretty good condition for the most part, especially for only like 2 people running that place. But I'm literally just like, damn, nice video you got there. Don't mind if I repost that.
I'm dying at this. He posted a photo of the media center, and Gluck immediately in the replies, haunted media center where Brian France announced he was adding Jeff Gordon to the chase.
I was there that day. I was there because here's the thing. Okay, story time for a second. The night before, because where we were was our campsite was at the exit of turn 4 in this little corner, second row, right next to the medical center and right across from the driver's lot. And they would always have a stage there. And it'd always be, playing. They had, I think it was Stacy Mitchart was the guy's name. He's like a jazz singer, right? And everyone's partying, drinks galore. And who was partaking the night before that announcement? But Mike Helton. Mike Helton. And he's doing Jello shots, and he's going wild. And there is Steve O'Donnell and Steve Phelps on his Hummer, that like Hummer styled golf cart. And I see like Mike Helton come back holding 2 of these shots, and he just like sits back, looks to Steve O'Donnell, who's in the driver's seat, and goes, "We need to leave." Next morning rolls around, and here is Brian France and Mike Helton, and Mike Helton looks rough, man. And Brian France is doing all the talking, and it's like dangerous. He knew what was coming. He knew what was coming down the pipeline. And that was the same weekend I saw Michael Waltrip doing his pacing because he at that point, like they had known Napa was leaving the team. Michael Waltrip refused to go on pit road, and he just sat in the driver's lot the entire race. That was. I have a million stories I can't tell on air from Chicagoland, but those are some of the ones I can. Like partying with Mike Helton. That man, he can drink with the best of them, man. Coming back to the present, though. I'm sorry, that tweet reminded me of it. Coming back to the present, though, let's look at and let's close off the Cup side of things with the ratings and the poll. So Prime drew in 1.869 million viewers, down 21% from 2024 at Pocono, but flat with the same weekend last year, which was also a rain-delayed race, that being at New Hampshire. The median age was 56 for this race, down from 63 on the same week last year for NASCAR. And then also an update that came out from Mexico. They had the youngest median age for a NASCAR race, I think in like 12 years or something, 54, which is roughly around where actually like the NFL is at, which is just to put it in perspective. When's the last time we could compare the median age of a NASCAR race with an NFL game? I mean,
it's been a minute.
Yeah. Just saying there's upside. Basically there's any side you want to take on this issue with Prime. You have your data to back you up on this one. On the CW front, the Xfinity race was up 21% from last year with 1.12 million viewers. So a good recovery also after last week recording their lowest viewership of the year. Now they're back up to over 1 million again, which is pretty damn good. Now, when it comes to Pocono for the Cup race, the poll, 11,000 of you voted when I asked what you thought of the Cup race. 11% of you said it was good. 61% of respondents said, so 11% said great, 61% said good, 23% said average, and -5. Net positivity of 72, which breaks our now what was a 5 straight race, 80+% positive or more percentage here. Still 72, not too bad. I'm scrolling through my little spreadsheet here down to Pocono, where this race ranks 5th of 10 Pocono races all time, right between the 2019 race, the second race in 2019 at Pocono, as well as the 2022 race at Pocono. The first comment was from Isaac. Is it positive, negative, or meme?
Meme.
Positive.
Positive.
Put you on the spot with that one.
Yeah, I wasn't ready.
Isaac said, as entertaining as this race was, I wish there was a bit more fuel strategy. The stuff we got was good, don't get me wrong, but I wanted a bit more.
Neutral. We need a new category,
I'd say
Jared.
that's kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Looking at some of the comments here, Brassmaster says we can just call this one the 1-23-11 and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day 400.
Facts.
Silas says Nemechek has now more top 10s than Reddick. Caleb says bad race. It's embarrassing that the second place car pushing as hard as he can couldn't pass a car rolling at 60% throttle.
Yep.
Ooh, brutal.
And Andrew says at this point, we just accept that the leader can't be passed on track anymore. Except if you're Alex Bowman, who did get an on-track pass of Joey Logano.
Hey, he led some laps.
Welcome to the playoffs.
Hang the banner. We led laps. Woo!
Keselowski could say the same thing.
Yeah.
He's barely led any laps this year. It's pretty crazy.
God, I think before this, he had led like what was it like before this or before Kansas? He hadn't led any.
Yeah.
And it wasn't much better after Kansas. Kyle here says, man, I'm going to miss Prime. The way they tie the old with the new, making NASCAR feel special again. We need this all year. I am not going to get up around the bend out of my head until they come back next year.
Wow.
Because damn, man, like they played that song all the time, which is fine because like that song to me feels like summer.
It's a good summer song.
Yeah. But man, they played it a lot.
They did.
It's better than that grating electric guitar riff that Fox still uses. I hate that so much.
Old.
Maybe I'm just
they just make it louder and louder each week.
Yep.
It gets distorted by the end of the year. Oh man.
I think I'd rather hear the
To be fair, Eric has said that forever though.
Oh, I hated the
2018. Our first episode, you brought that up and you're like, I just can't You're like, I just can't stand to hear.
They have
this.
it's
Like,
been
they
the
just put
same
old
for like
Fox team.
it's been the same for at least 10, 15 years. I just don't like it.
I'm pretty certain that song came from the Speed Days. you know?
Yeah.
Yes,
No, that's where
did.
it was originally from. But I swear to God, it is so much louder than it ever
It's
was
one
before.
it's one of the few Speed things I think we're not nostalgic for.
Yeah, I NBC still is the best. Dun 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 dun. Dun. That's the best one.
Do you know you can get that on iTunes?
I've not listened to it on iTunes. I've listened to it like people have uploaded the
then-
full version to YouTube, and I've legit put that on my
And-
like put that like as I'm like going to do stuff.
Prime is known as the summer of the fun. Come on, a ride.
So like I live right near a 7-Eleven, and responded to me to get some, she was really wanting root beer. I'm like, okay, I'll get a root beer. So I drive over there and I turn on my phone and I put it to shuffle, and that starts playing, and I blare it. Like, Danny, you've been in the car with me in the summer when it's just windows down, Heart of America. And I had the windows down all the way up, and all it plays is I'm like, this is a sign. This is a sign. Let's go. And I found out that the drive from my apartment to 7-Eleven is one up around the bend.
We have found the song of the summer, boys and girls.
Yep.
Well, okay. Now I'm seeing they're talking about it in chat. Does TNT get AC/DC rolled out there in their wheelchairs to perform TNT once again? Because I can tell you what, TNT doesn't use TNT by AC/DC for their basketball coverage. They don't use it for every sport on the channel. Why does it have to be NASCAR? Why do they need to use that song?
I'm just imagining these geriatric guys. Half of them have dementia here. Cause I'm TNT. Oh, here goes my pacemaker.
Cause I'm Turner Network Television.
So they
think
might
they
even
still wear the
forget the damn letters because I'm NTN.
I'm MTV.
What's the lyric again?
I swear to God, I'll remember it this time. Just give me my Depends.
Wait, I just need to do this one time. Cause I'm NWP.
Dynamite.
They're not that old, Leah. I beg to differ. I'm going to tell you how old they are.
How old is AC/DC? Google,
Yeah.
help me out here.
A generation from Jesus and 2 from dirt.
Okay,
I like AC/DC.
let me just say this:
70.
the original
Lead singer is 78.
Goodness. The original Iron Man came out, I think, about 2007. That's nearly 20 years ago at this point, and AC/DC music was part of the soundtrack of that.
Evil. Oh, damn.
Well, that just brought down the mood.
Why did you flash it up on screen? That was so jarring.
It's
It
going to
made
be
me
really
laugh.
impressive when he's playing the drums in the intro.
Side note, I see Alex Luff just asked, any chance of AEW wrestlers coming to a NASCAR race? Yes, this weekend. The pace car driver will be the AEW champion, Swerve.
Okay, getting back to the comments real quick. Oh, hi, Dad. 7 Cynical says, was at the track. It was a good race. And Keith says, voted average for the race. The commentators in the booth and on the track did an incredible job making a poor race more interesting, but it was average. So now the fun part. Let's get to the gutter comments here. Barrett Carpenter. I'm just letting you know now it is a long one. People love to complain. This race was fantastic. Restarts were amazing, and this is what Pocono has been for 15 years. Fuel strategy is part of the Pocono identity. Good cars could race up front. Great cars could slice through the field. Let's not act like Dirty Air didn't win Blaney that race in 2017, but nobody wants to talk about that. It's only 1 week a year crowd is silent, and that's bullshit. I felt like this was going one way, and then it veered completely off the road.
Yeah, so I don't think anyone's hating that it's a fuel mileage race. I think they're hating that a guy was max saving and holding off the field, if not driving away from the field. Like that, either Briscoe and them are lying about how much they were saving, but like the broadcast showed it. how early he was
The
lifting.
burn
He
bar
was
don't lie.
saving. He was saving. And yet the clean air advantage was like, that's the thing is like, yes, fuel mileage racing. Nobody has a problem with that. We expect that from Pocono. Hard to pass. Sure. It's never been that hard to pass. That's the thing. But I respect the passion.
Kid Latin says, let's go Chase Briscoe. Seeing you win is a lot better than Denny Hamlin winning Pocono. Awesome job.
Dang, a lot of Hamlin fans must have thumbed that one down.
I would have thumbed it up.
And Big Man Terrence says, overall, pretty boring. That battle for the win was pretty entertaining, but at the end of the day, I'm just glad Denny Hamlin didn't win. Congrats, Briscoe.
I would have thumbed that one up too.
There's a lot of Hamlin fans in your chat there, Jared. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Can I
That's
just? Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying that's probably just my wife and all 20 of her alt accounts.
I know we are kind of at the tail end of Pocono, but I completely forgot to make mention of this before. Whose fault was it with Briscoe not getting enough fuel? I feel like that's the crew chief.
It was Briscoe in this case. The crew chief, because I went back and watched the clip. He says, "Wait on me." Briscoe gets into the box, and then the moment the drag drops, he goes. And crew chief was literally like, "Wait, and then he comes on, Chase, we're fucked on fuel, mate.
Okay. I heard that part, but I didn't know, was he communicating stop, you gotta wait for me to tell you to leave?
It could have been clear maybe, but it was pretty clear. It was probably more on the driver.
Chase was like SpongeBob in that one episode. Floor it? Yes. No, floor it. No. Okay, floor it.
I'm just thinking of going old school. This what super chat level needs to be hit for Eric to read the super chats next week in the Australian accent, mate.
I can do 2 or 3 words, and that's as confident as I
Get
am.
a little Vegemite. That's not a knife. That's a knife. I'm just quoting my dad quoting Crocodile Dundee.
I'm trying to think what's like a reasonable but also not easily attainable number.
Steven's right. I say this stuff all the time, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's just Jared." Eric says it once, and they're like, "Oh."
Meanwhile, I think I've said maybe 2 or 3 this entire show's history.
If that offends you guys, don't come to my channel.
Yeah. You're a Christian television network, right? Yes.
Oh yeah, 100%. We even have a race car driver who claims he's Jesus. I think we know.
I was hated.
I think we
before
know
he
who
was
we're
loved.
talking about.
Well, before we get to super chats and everything like that, let's go over the other 2 races real quick here. So Dale Earnhardt Jr. won on Saturday as a crew chief. Sorry, as a crew chief, I meant.
So it doesn't count. Oh, I'm just kidding. You sound like the Hall of Fame voting committee.
Hang the banner.
Oh, where's that? There we go. Hang the banner. But Dale Jr. does win as a crew chief, but it's actually Connor Zilich that did all the driving and in my opinion, probably the harder part of that. I gotta say, he finally got his oval win. And let's be honest, count this as an oval, even if Pocono has 3, 5, 6 turns, whatever you want to
He got
count
his
it.
triangle win.
Yeah, he got his Dorito win. Now he needs to go get an oval.
Go get a Pringle win next.
It's a Homestead.
Very impressed. Yeah, very impressed with the Zilich. I mean, and Dale Jr. winning as a crew chief is a cool story. Considering especially it was his first race as a interim crew chief. That's pretty cool to say you're 1 for 1 as a crew chief. I know he didn't set the car up and have full control of everything, but he played a role. He was on the radio coaching Connor up, going back and forth, helping talk strategy. It was cool. It's a cool story.
I did my once in every 3 years check-in listening to 10 minutes of Door Bumper Clear. And it did kind of sound like he kind of went off script with this last call, Junior. It sounded like he kind of went off script, when everyone was supposed to pit and he didn't have him pit.
So he called pancakes?
He called pancakes. I know that's all the chat's going to say now.
It's cool. It was cool though. But Connor winning is a bigger deal because he's in line potentially for a cup ride as soon as next year. And I'll say this: SVG, as great as he was in Xfinity last year, he didn't win an oval. Connor Zilic has an oval win now. Like, that shows that he's really learning. He's figuring this out.
So we had this discussion on my post-race show on Saturday, and I kind of want to carry it over here if you guys will allow me to.
No, but yes.
No.
Should Connor Zilic race Xfinity in one more year, or just
Yes.
go up to Cup?
Yes, he should.
And
he
I'll-
should race it.
I'll pull the chat on it too before I give my thoughts on it. So go ahead and say what you are as I type this, so it's not just me awkwardly typing.
If this was 5 years ago, I would say give him another year, 100%. But because the next gen drives so differently from the Xfinity Series platform at this point, I'd say get him in there. Get him in there. Get him in this car. Give him that experience. Because at this point, I think he'd be as good, if not better, than Daniel Suarez. And I like Daniel a lot, but there's just not a lot of momentum going his way. I think where is he at in points? 28th? If somebody can pull that up, I think he's 28th in points. Yeah, I think Connor Zilic could be 28th in points right now. 27th. Yeah, I think that's about where Connor Zilic probably would be right now. Yeah, maybe Connor would be back around 30th because he would be a rookie.
This is one of those cases where I wish we could still have the old school rules of Cup and Xfinity seat time for this case, because think back to Joey Logano. He got rushed up, but he was basically full time in the Nationwide Series in 2009 as well. Just if it didn't work out logistically, he couldn't be in that race, and they'd have Matt DiBenedetto in his Nationwide Series car, and they would do that more often for drivers in, because it was a better way to, okay, we're going to push you up. We're going to make sure you're getting plenty of seat time down here still too.
So my argument is I think he should stay one more year in Xfinity. And it's not really even because of how much it would necessarily help him one-to-one with Cup, but more the kid's 18. Like, he's going to go into his age 20 season in 2027. And to me, there's really, in my opinion, unless there's like some major sponsor like money that's coming in, that's twice the amount that you would get for Suarez or SVG, whichever they depend on doing. I'm assuming Suarez. There's really, to me, no reason to try and rush him right off the bat. Be completely sure that you have him ready to go. Suarez, they've already talked about, they could give him that, hey, we're giving you one good year next year, like to try out. You're not coming back. This is your impress somebody else to get them to hire you. We'll help you. You helped us build this team. We'll help you. So they give Suarez that extra year. They're going to keep Ross and SVG, and you go from there. I just don't think that you need to rush him right off the bat. You can give him more Cup starts next year, because I don't know if there's like a limit to how many Cup starts they can give him. But you could probably have more than you have this year. I would assume, like, have him start, I'd say, I don't know, 12 to 15 Cup races next year. Just to kind of get you into that rhythm and get him more up to speed. That way, once he gets going, he's just off and away and can be a top 20 guy, top 15 guy immediately from the get-go.
So a couple problems with that, I think, is one, if you're, it's a lot of resources to bring a fourth car to the track, especially for a team like Trackhouse. So if you're bringing Zilic to the track 12 or 15 times, that's going to take away from Chastain and Suarez and your full-time guys, most likely. And then the only other thing I would say is it doesn't feel like rushing in the sense that, okay, you got to get up here and you got to perform right away. It's more about getting, I think, the experience, because I just think the Cup experience now is so different now than the Xfinity. Again, 5 years ago, I would have said for sure keep him in Xfinity another year because the platforms were similar. But now the platforms are so different. Carson Hocevar skipped Xfinity entirely and looks like a playoff contender at age 22. Like, I don't think Zilic is far behind Hocevar, which is why I would argue, unless Suarez goes on a heater the next few weeks, or or there is just the sponsorship for Suarez makes that much sense. Unless there's a real logical reason to keep Suarez in that car another year, I wouldn't mind seeing Zilic full time just so we can get his legs under him. I'll say this, and I don't mean this as a shot. I know he's been through a lot, but like Ty Gibbs, we questioned it well before they ever put him in Cup, but especially when they put him in Cup, we questioned the mental and emotional maturity. Could he handle not being in the best car, not running in the top 10 every week, or would he get down? Would he pout? Would he be in a slump? And I don't know if that's what's hurting him right now, but obviously Ty Gibbs has not been as good as we hoped. I think Connor Zilic is more mature than Ty Gibbs was when he was making the transition to Cup. I think he could handle the early rookie struggles better than some other young guys have in the past. That's why I think it would make some sense to put him up there sooner rather than later, so he can start getting that regular next gen experience. But I could go either way. I'm kind of 50-50 on it, which doesn't make for good content. So
no, you have to agree or disagree with me, Eric. There's no other choice.
I'm just saying the viewers are dropping as I speak. This isn't good.
I'm like sitting here listening to you both, and I want one of you to sway me one way or another. And I'm like, oh, Jared has good points. Oh, but Eric has good points too. So I still don't think I have a decision made.
Yeah. Flip a coin. Who brings the most? If Suarez brings full sponsorship, bring him back for another year. That's
well, I'm the tiebreaker here, and I'm siding with Jared. I just think we've seen too many young drivers rushed up, and we're just waiting, or we have waited for them to just evolve. And I'm like, you know what? Give him one more year to just get a little tiny bit more maturity under him before we push him up.
I think I'm going to make this 2-2. I think I say put him in Cup next year. Because, okay, we've seen Daniel Suarez in the top rides of the sport. We know what he's capable of. I like his personality. This is not some knock against him whatsoever. But you don't see it. And I get the feeling that maybe this is why Pitbull's not a part of the team anymore, because they were already talking about, we want to move on because this isn't going anywhere. And you throw Zilic in, yeah, next season probably won't be anything too great, but it'll be the experience factor. And I think you have a ton more upside, get things going as soon as humanly possible with Zilic. And then maybe by 2027, he's looking to win some Cup races.
I think the thing that's probably holding me back too is that we've seen so many times where that guy gets hyped up and then unnecessarily has to have that added hype with it. And I think Zilic is going to be somebody that's around the sport in Cup for 15, 20 years if he elects to do so. Like I believe the talent, I believe the hype. I've seen so many times before, Joey Logano, for instance. We know how good Joey Logano is. Love him or hate him. The talent's there. It's obvious to see. He's one of the best drivers of our generation. William Byron, another one. Remember the first couple of years we were doing this show, it was like, man, he was hyped up as the next best thing since Joey Logano, and this dude's kind of mediocre. Like, he can't win with Chad Knaus, except at Daytona, and then we've seen what William Byron has done since then. I think that's the other aspect too, is I don't want to unnecessarily pile on that extra hype, extra whatever with the Cup Series too early. I don't want to ruin him, because I really think that he's somebody that's going to be really special. And so maybe this is why I'm not paid the big bucks to run these teams, right? But at the end of the day too, if he does go to Cup, it would be the perfect situation for everyone involved. If Suarez can't get a good Cup ride, go take a JRM ride for a year, do a prove it deal. One way or another, I think 2026 is going to be a Suarez prove it year. And I honestly think that might be the almost more interesting than whatever Zilic does one way or another.
I will say, because I just pulled it up, I was curious because I knew that Zilic ran the Coke 600. He finished 23rd, 2 laps down for a team that they just kind of, pieced together.
He finished 23rd in that race?
Like, that's not
And he got
bad.
spun out.
It's really not that bad.
Wow. I'm actually impressed.
Fair point. That's very fair point.
Yeah, he finished like 30th. Shoot. No, I don't know.
Well,
I like this. We're split. There we go. That's good. That's good content.
Yes,
The ch-
yes. We
The
must
chat is not split. The 2/3 of the chat thinks he should spend another year in Xfinity, for the record.
To
But
be fair, that's a lot less than when I pulled it on Saturday.
hey,
There's
we
points
made
brought
some
up.
good arguments, Michael. Look at us.
Look at us.
To kind of go on a little more with the Xfinity side of things, really quick. Chase Elliott and that not Chase Elliott, but the 17 team was actually penalized. I believe 40 owner points, 10 playoff points, and like 40 or 50 grand or something like that.
Yeah.
For infractions made. I had them up, but I think I accidentally deleted them.
Damn it,
yeah.
Chad, you're still cheating.
I think didn't they suspend crew chief Adam Waldo?
Yeah, 3
Yeah,
Is
races.
it Adam Wall?
Yep. Yeah, he's
Okay.
out for a few weeks.
I just find it funny because everyone on Twitter during that week, and we saw this when they saw like how well he was doing, it's like this is the tryout for next year, gets busted for cheating. But for the Xfinity playoff cut line for them with 10 races to go, much closer than Cup. For those that are listening, Jeb Burton is up 24, Sheldon Creed plus 20, Ryan Sieg plus 18, Taylor Gray plus 11, and Harrison Burton minus 11, Nick Sanchez minus 26. This is actually more intriguing than the Cup one to me. Like I'm actually intrigued by this one a lot. And I know I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm kind of rooting for one driver in particular to make it just because I'm so impressed this year. And that's Harrison Burton. I'm so impressed he's keeping track. He just does enough each week to stay in the conversation.
He's having a prove it year.
Yes.
Kind of,
Very
yeah.
much.
And he's still so young, too. I don't know if he'll ever get a good Cup opportunity again, but if he keeps running like this, he'll at least maybe get a good Xfinity opportunity or a really good truck opportunity. And I'd love to see it. Like, he could be a sneaky good pick for Atlanta coming up later in the show.
I mean, he's only turning 25 this week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or not this week, this year.
This year,
Sorry,
yeah.
October.
Or maybe he does have a birthday coming up. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, just can be anyone's birthday. Who knows?
I think both of the Burtons, they do a lot with a little.
Yes.
They have very good situations for themselves right now.
Well, and just saying, Jeb Burton, he's pretty damn good at those super speedways too, right? So
Yeah.
he could get a win this week.
I'm impressed he's holding on to 9th in points. That's pretty impressive.
Plus
that
24.
And I'll say for Gray too. I mean, a lot of us questioned him going up to Xfinity and him being up there. I mean, we can see clear as day who's ready and who isn't for this level between him and Sawalich. Now, he should probably run better in Joe Gibbs equipment. I get that. But he's not like 27th in the points right now. So
he'd have a win right now. Just saying. Martinsville goes a little bit differently.
It's true.
And then really quick, I think let's close off the weekend, briefly skim over, talk a little of trucks. Corey Heim was going to win this race. It was Heim time.
Again,
we said that so many times this year. Heim was going to win this race, and then
anytime I have to pick Heim, it never goes my way.
He got his left rear cut down, flat tire under caution. It's like, what else could go wrong for Heim this year?
And I think he finished like what, 24th, I think, on the day when he should have easily won this race. So that sets up the last restart where now Carson Hocevar has been brought up to the front of the board. And he's on the front row with Lane Riggs. And he just bolts out like a bat out of hell, only that he didn't know the rule, which I swear to God has been talked about so many times this year already, that the guy who was higher up in the running order before that person left that row is now the control car. And Hocevar thought he was the control truck, I should say, and just bolts out. He gets penalized, and Lane Riggs is just sitting there with a win put right in his lap.
Yeah, it felt for Hocevar, but I guess you got to know the rule. It sounded like Lane Riggs didn't know the rule either, which made things even worse. This is like we talked about this after the Homestead Xfinity race. This is where NASCAR might need to do a short track thing where they, like, moments after the restart, say, hey, that one was no good, wave it off, do it again. Like, that's just like, it sucks to lose a race because the guy you're racing also didn't know the rule, and it was just screwy from top to bottom.
I'll guarantee you, though, I bet you neither of them ever forgets the rule again.
I don't know. I actually think they might. I feel like I mean, you just said it that we've talked about this rule before, but
but they weren't the ones involved before.
I guess not, but it's like, I don't know. These drivers have a lot of other things on their minds, and the rules do occasionally change a little bit here and there. It's like, Yeah, like I could see him forgetting again, and us having this, or two different drivers in the same position, being in the same position, and us having this issue again. So I don't
It
know.
doesn't like shock me whatsoever. It's the truck series.
Yeah,
I
that
remember
too.
a point in time where the truck series was full of a bunch of veterans that, well, you wouldn't see stuff like this out of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, leaving Pocono, we have an updated cut line here as well with 4 races left. We have 4 races remaining in the truck regular season, and the truck regular season ends like I think at the second to last weekend of August. But it is Grant Enfinger plus 50, Caden Honeycutt plus 45, Ty Majeski plus 10 over Jake Garcia in 11th. I am so surprised that Ty Majeski is that far down this year. I know they've had problems and all of that, but he feels faster than a guy who is borderline going to miss it on point.
There's a chance, slim chance, there's a chance we could still see a surprise winner we don't know about. And we might not get the defending champion, but we might not get a single 4-sport truck in the playoffs at all.
What happened to them? Well, like, where did this go?
Unless a surprise winner is a 4-sport truck like
It's Ben Rhodes.
I'm not gonna say Crafton, but Ben Rhodes maybe.
I mean, they're on a road course this weekend. Could easily have a surprise winner.
Never racing fan. Downforce needs guts.
They need something. They're clinging on to Matt Crafton because they like that Menards money.
The
pretty
corpse of
good.
Crafton. Like that team is.
He is Paul Menard without being Paul Menard.
That's a good way to put it, I guess. Oh man, I will say the fair point. Deegan fans probably feeling vindicated by ThorSport's struggles, except ThorSport wasn't struggling as much
years
back
ago.
If
They're
anything,
like
if anything, I think her coming over there set them back just a tad by forcing their hand to get a Ford.
Blaming
like-
ThorSport's downfall on Deegan.
They're all sitting there at home like, come on, Harrison, crash out too. Oh man, but I'll say this, that was overall a pretty eventful weekend at Pocono, even if people weren't maybe as pleased with some things as others. Still pretty eventful weekend as we talked a lot about it. How about, guys, let's go to the first super chat stage break. Anyone want to get a timer on me for that one?
Go for it.
Let me just double check. All right, Spencer Purcell had a 48-month member chat before the show. Can't put it on screen because it's before the show, but said W Redneck Jesus as crew chief. Crap. I was supposed to add this in and I didn't. I was supposed to add in the sounder for this because of his long beeped out rant. SW put Matt Crafton. It's a bunch of dolphin emojis. I gotta add that.
I tweeted out the video of him, and then I just added in the Jimmy Spencer like shocked cigar afterwards.
That's a perfect response. Dad for the 3-month member chat says, boy, who wins this non-beard character?
I could change that.
Oh, it looks so natural.
See, now we all have a beard now. We all
Wow.
have a facial hair.
Fitting.
Oh, no, it's falling
shoot.
off.
Kids, look away.
It started so well like Jimmy and then ended like his 2018 to 2020 season.
In an instant, he has become Santa.
I gotta take it off. I feel too stupid. I'm not on my own channel right now. I can't be doing this crap.
That's fine. It's fine. Isaac.
Have you not seen NWP After Dark?
No, I haven't. What the hell goes on around here after dark?
We
Did you
lose
bring the
track
glow
of time
sticks?
and it gets a little crazy.
Oh shit! I forgot the glow sticks.
Isaac here for the 2 says, what's your favorite Superman movie paint scheme? I'm biased because I was there in person before it blew up. 2013 Dale Jr.
Yeah, that one's my favorite.
Honestly,
The Jimmy
like
Johnson one in 81 is pretty good too.
I like the Jimmy one would probably be what I'd say.
2016
Is
Auto
that Auto
Club.
Club?
Yeah. Right before he fell off the cliff that year.
I just can't believe that they put Kryptonite in Dale Jr.'s Superman car that year.
was rough. Beast of Metal says strolls into room carrying numerous 5-gallon buckets.
What is that profile picture? Why do we got to look at it so big now?
Oh, I love it. I think it's badass. On a pole slung across back. Oh, they're full of ice water. Hope you're ready for a bath. Okay.
What the hell's going on?
I don't even know
What am I
that means.
missing?
Justin Drake with the 20, who says, nah, don't take this from me. My boy Briscoe led the most laps and with the crazy pit strat.
Why do we have Eric Wazowski over here?
Held off Hamlin and won. Let's effing go. Although Letarte and Eric's tweets had me anxious watching the final 30 laps. That's right. He did lead the most laps. Let's see. Beast of Metal for the 10 also says, expecting anything of worth from Turner, the group that thought they could get away with remote broadcasting multiple Stanley Cup playoff games, including the defending West champs, is a fool's errand. I said this in my video today. I think their peak would be if they can be at the level of the CW. Like that's I'm not expecting prime. I'm not expecting all that. I'm just, if you can be like the CW, I'll be happy.
Yep.
I just want to see Wally Dallenbeck walk around on the track with cars zooming by again.
Wally's World.
Yeah.
Wally's World. Hunter Nixon.
I won't even reference him, sadly.
Hunter Nixon with the 20 here. It's been pushing 100 here in Georgia the last few days. Me and my girlfriend are going to Atlanta Saturday. I was there into July of 2022. If this is your first time to Atlanta in the summer, trust me, get ready to sweat and stay hydrated.
There's a reason it's a night race. And if for some reason it storms Saturday night, they better make it a Sunday night race because it's going to be hot.
Yeah. I will say I ran 6 miles yesterday and damn, I felt it by the end of it. Like I was good. And then I got half a mile from home and I'm like, oh boy, what's the heat index right now? 110.
I'm now at the point where I'm keeping the doors shut all day because if you don't, it's just going to make the house even hotter.
I'm going to read 3 more here, and then we'll go on to the next segment. Bobby Blair says, love the Frisco Rough Riders shirt, Eric.
Thank you. I know they're a Rangers, not an Astros affiliate, but I live close to the stadium. So
it's the Chase Briscoe Rough Riders.
Yeah.
Beast of Metal with another one here. Make no mistake, the RTA needs to have its books open so we can finally get a good grasp on the damage the Ponzi charters have done to the sport. I don't think we would find out though, if anything.
Yeah, it
Bobby
doesn't seem
Blair,
like they're going to share it with everybody.
Bobby Blair with the 5 here. Last one says James Small still got to go. This win does nothing for me. Still costs the 19. Too many wins over the last 5 years, in my opinion.
Well, Steve, that's like where I was coming from before. Like it kind of felt like Truex could have been behind the wheel. Like that was some sort of screw up again from the top with the team. And I was expecting Briscoe to lose. I was thinking he was going to run out of gas, but luckily he didn't.
That will be it for the first Super Chat stage break. Now, guys, I know it's hot, but when it gets so hot, what happens? Do you know what?
Some of those heat storms?
The sky cries.
Or would it be heat lightning?
I had no idea where this was going.
I didn't know where that was going either, and we do this every week.
It's the lightning round.
I had a feeling that's where it was going. That's why I set him up for that.
Of course, we have the NWP Clips channel that is linked below at NWP Clips, where we'll re-upload all of these. Jesse Iwuji had some pretty good news I wanted to bring up. He was promoted from a lieutenant commander to the rank of commander in the U.S. Navy yesterday. Cool. Jesse Iwuji was the first driver I ever interviewed, and say what you want about him as a driver, like dude is a stand-up human being, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah, that's cool.
Military man fits him well.
Nice Motorsports has put out a statement that they will remain with Chevrolet in 2026. They were one of the teams people were starting to make rumors about with Ram. Not going to happen next year based on what they've put out there recently. And then the ambassador program now kind of had it somewhat leaked, put out there. Joey Logano is the lead driver in the ambassador program thus far this season, followed by, and I'll just list off the top 10, a second place Kyle Larson, third for Blaney, fourth for Chastain, fifth for Suarez, sixth for Elliott, seventh Byron, eighth Kyle Busch, ninth Austin Dillon, and closing out the top 10, actually, Chase Briscoe.
Wait,
So-
I'm sorry. How is Chase Elliott so high on this? What is he actually doing?
What are any of them
and how
doing?
how is Carson Hocevar not at least top 10, if not
That's
higher
true.
than that? Because he's doing a ton actually.
I know Chase was one of the drivers that went on that trip to Mexico City, but Christopher Bell was on that trip too, and I didn't see him in that top 10. So I don't know what's going on.
But
I want to know
Like,
How's Denny Hamlin not in there? Doesn't he do a podcast every week to like
Well,
doing NASCAR.
thousands of listeners?
Answers your question.
Well, that would be used in court against them. So I think that would be foolish of them to not include him in the driver ambassador program.
Honestly,
But-
retired or not, Dale Jr. should just win that. So
He should be in the top 10.
I
Let's
feel
be
like
honest, he's probably winning.
I feel like Giggles Logano got double points for the first take thing.
That helped. Yeah,
Yeah.
Logano's done a lot. I've seen him do a
I've
lot
seen
of
him
appearances.
yeah,
everywhere.
I'm not gonna fault him on that. I've seen him do it. It may not be stuff you remember, but you know he did it.
Yeah, I've seen
You
him
might
in a lot
not
of random
remember it,
things.
But
I've
your
seen.
brain
I've watched.
does.
I watched like a Instagram reel the other day from some account that had millions of followers. It was like a garage tour with Logano. I didn't realize how freaking cool Joey Logano's house is. Like
Well,
it
it's-
was nuts.
Say what you want about him on track. Joey Logano is one of the coolest dudes off the track. Like I would have a
Yes.
beer with that man.
Joey Logano, if you want to actually win this, no balls, you'll come on the show. Come on.
How many points does it pay to come on this show? It's like actually
apparently not a lot. Apparently not a lot for host bars. It's not even top 10.
We actually deduct points for each host. Closing out the lightning round here. Next week we will be on Danny's channel in July 2nd, Wednesday night. That should be a really fun one
Good
as well.
Good timing. Good timing.
Good
Ronnie,
timing indeed.
Probably true. I don't think I should be on if you have Giggles on. I don't think he would care for me much.
Well, we have the ability to kick you to the waiting room, so you would still see everything.
Whoa, wait a minute. You're
would-
gonna choose him over me? Is that really what you're telling me right now?
In
If-
the words
if
of Patrick,
Hey,
yes.
he promised
was-
us to
if it
split
was
up
for-
that $1 million.
It's more for your own good, more or less.
Okay.
It's just
All
Shark
right.
Track
You,
Racing.
you would still be able to see what's happening, likely screaming at your computer screen. None of us would hear you.
Let's head over to the headlines really quick before we get too far off the rails here. Just a couple of small things to talk about, and then one of the reckless speculation sides of things will be really fun because it's been added onto by Carson Hocevar. But let's head on over to NASCAR. How about that? So, NASCAR has asked to see the financial info for the teams that aren't part of the lawsuit as part of their discovery process. Roughly, I think they said the last 11 years of data and information from the teams. Eric,
Yes.
I know you know a little more on this side of it. You've been covering it really well.
Well, thank you. I can break it down simply
for
as I understand it. It was this week there was a hearing because NASCAR, yes, has requested financial info from 12 of the 13 teams not suing them. Apparently they struck some sort of deal with colleagues, so they're not part of it. But the other 12 teams, NASCAR subpoenaed them essentially saying, hey, we're requesting financial info to help us in our antitrust case against the other two teams. And all the teams fought back against it because they're like, we don't want to share our private info with you. What if it gets leaked? What if it gets public? And also, they raised questions about NASCAR under the new charter agreement can own charters and field a team themselves. So it's like, we don't want to give potentially one of our on-track rivals like the blueprints of how to operate a Cup Series team. A lot of fair questions and concerns from the team side. So they pushed back against it. Ultimately, a judge today decided that the teams will be compelled to share some, as they put it, like top line data, some basic overall profit loss, how much income did they take in the last 11 years, whatnot. But they're not going to need to provide NASCAR those intricate details that NASCAR was looking for. Like there were reports that NASCAR wanted to know like how much Hendrick spent on Larson's double attempt, that they wanted to know how much Garage 56 cost, like a bunch of, they like, I think the attorney representing the 12 teams in this case also represents Christopher Bell. Like maybe he's his agent or works with him somehow. And like, there was talk about they wanted to know what Christopher Bell's salary was, like things like that were just very, in my unprofessional opinion, off topic, I'd say. So ultimately the judge sided with the teams and said, you only need to provide some baseline data. But yes, NASCAR is going to get access to some basic team data from teams that aren't suing NASCAR, which is where I think it's weird. I understand this is all the legal process. This is pretty normal as I understand it. But like, these are the teams that signed your deal. They've kind of been on your side. They played ball and you reward them by forcing them to turn over their financial records. Like, well, like it just kind of, I feel like it continues to fracture the relationship between NASCAR and the teams.
I'd ask especially like the Hendrick double part of it. You think part of that might be too, to get a little dirt and info on IndyCar too, see what the financials look like with that, what things they could be doing there, what ways they could maybe, if they're able to in any way field some kind of car there, get a foothold in some way. Because if they're,
who knows?
Jim France wants to race everywhere.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone, I've seen excuses. Like I think Tommy Baldwin made this comment a couple weeks ago that like, Jim France is a racer. Like let him race. And I'm like, sure, if Jim France wants to own a NASCAR team, if he wants to own an IMSA team, if he wants to race, sell your stake in NASCAR. Well, like get out of the owning the series business and go race.
And then talk to Rick Ware and ask him how he does it, how is he and everything.
Yeah.
Well, you see how well it's going for Roger Penske right now in IndyCar.
Exactly.
You really want that?
I do not want to see that brought over to NASCAR. Yeah.
Add with all that, like NASCAR and the teams and everyone else in one way or another, like the business model in certain ways has to change and be more like, like an NFL or an NBA or something like that. And all of that. And one of the interesting parts of that is like, you remember the hubbubaloo around Tom Brady and the fact that he works for Fox, right? Mm-hmm. But because he owns a piece of the Raiders, he's not allowed to actually go in the locker room and interview people, talk to different people, get info that any other broadcaster could because of the conflict of interest. He, they could use that to help his team out and things like that. That's a broadcaster and a partial team owner in another sport. And they're like that just overboard about no information can get to this person or whatever. And then you go over to NASCAR and you just see the clown show being run where the guy owning the series wants to race in it, wants to know everybody's financials with everything. Like, I think that's the biggest reason more than anything else. That and the fact that stuff keeps getting leaked out, like drip fed to us in the public from pieces of this case. God forbid that some crucial information got out from one of the teams, whether it be top, middle, or bottom tier. Like that would be crippling for a team if that stuff got out.
One of the interesting things, though, is that, NASCAR is countersuing the teams, alleging that they conspired against them in negotiations. They're really zeroed in on Curtis Polk of 2311. One of the pieces of information they were hoping to get out of this was access to all the team's communication records from the last 11 years. And it sounds like, if what I read today was correct, that was not part of the judge's decision. Like that is not going to be one of the things the teams have to hand over. So that's a win for the teams in this case. And I saw a comment a moment ago in the chat that said, well, hey, can't 2311 and Front Row, they're going to get access to NASCAR's data and books. And it's like, yes, that is going to happen. Those sides are going to exchange information. That's how this is going to work. The difference here is that NASCAR is getting info from the other 12 teams that aren't part of this lawsuit. That's not a two-way street. That at this point seems to be a one-way street. It's not like Jim France is opening up his books and saying, okay, 12 teams, we'll take a look at your stuff, but you can have a look at ours too. They're not doing that. They're just asking for their information to aid them in this case against 2311 and Front Row. And it just, again, it's basic standard legal proceedings as I understand it, but it all feels, it feels like you're kind of betraying the teams that played ball this whole time. These guys could have sued you too. They didn't. They said, all right, let's move forward, grow the sport. And now you're dragging them into this, trying to ask for the world. And it just, I guess they're doing what they have to do, but I'm not surprised the judge sort of said, hey, you're limited as
I
far
like
as what
this
you can
judge.
ask.
Like,
He seems pretty blunt.
His his amazement of each side wanting
Willingness
to
to burn down their own
Yeah.
house.
Yep.
like with everyone still under the roof. I love it. Like the bluntness from him. I'll take that every damn time, because you almost get the feeling from his comments, the more and more it goes, the more and more he's like, you guys are I'm done. I'm done.
You guys
Like,
are fucking stupid.
You kids need to be grounded. Enough.
I will say one of the weirdest things about NASCAR compared to other sports is, the fact that we're having that it's even being had to be discussed, like in lawsuits and stuff. Like, tell us how much, what is the financials like for this thing? Meanwhile, like, you hear, if you turn on any sports radio, you're going to be talking about X player from this NFL team. They just signed a contract. They're going to make blank amount of money this year. Oh, that's absurd. He's not worth that much money. The whole Nico situation. He's not worth $4 million NIL. You never hear about this stuff from NASCAR.
And that's probably why the teams partially too don't want it getting out, because if the driver's salaries get out, well, it's like, well, hey, why does Ross Chastain, why do I get 400,000 when somebody like, I don't know, let's say Ty Gibbs gets like 2.4 million and I'm outrunning him every week. I'm bringing in more than just, I'm like more sponsorship. I'm out there on Super Bowl ads doing X, Y, and Z. Why am I getting 2 million less than so-and-so? Or like, you can even compare it to another team. Like why does Eric Jones get paid more than me and I'm outrunning him every week and winning races? Like, I think that's a big part of why the teams wouldn't want any of that getting out there in any way. Because if the drivers know that and have that power, I'm assuming they probably somewhat talk every now and then if it's not put in their contract that they can't. But like, if that gets out there and that gets public, like, egos will go after money too on top of that. And then you start running into other situations with that.
I think more so that would have impact like engineers and other employees if that stuff got out.
Watch the teams when they're asked, like, how much does everyone make? They'll pull that old the classic HR move. It's competitive.
But God,
unlike our race team, it's
a competitive salary.
But I'd kind of argue though, when it comes, like, remember when we talked about like the cost cutting and saving and all that, and older drivers and younger drivers, and like somebody like Kyle Busch outpriced himself at JGR because it didn't make sense financially for the team to do it. You can have Ty go up there for a much probably cheaper price, and then also we'll add in also the family ties and all that. But like Matt Kenseth compared to Eric Jones. I'm guaranteeing you that Eric Jones made a hell of a lot less money than Matt Kenseth did. So it's like, I think it could still be part of the drivers, because if they're at the margins like they're saying they are, like that money that would go towards a driver's salary, if that swings too much, would actually make a huge difference if what they're saying is true. So to be completely honest, I'd be so damn interested to find out all of that stuff. It does not affect me one way or another, but I'm so here for the gossip of it.
I just listened to, he said the judge made the burning down the house comments. And I don't know enough about the intricacies of how college athletics operate to speak super confidently on this, but like the same attorney, Kessler, was instrumental in creating the NIL system we have now. He was very successful when they sued the NCAA, and it's completely transformed how the NCAA business model works, especially for like college football, college basketball, some of the biggest college sports. And some might say these changes have been for the better. Now, obviously, players are getting paid what many of them are worth. That's a good thing, but there also is not really a framework or guardrails in place to keep things in check. It feels like the wild west in some ways, and college football especially has changed dramatically the last few years. Traditions have gone by the wayside. Super conferences have been born. Playoff formats change every year. And so I look at college athletics and how there seems to be no structure now. And it's like, damn, if the teams are successful in this lawsuit against NASCAR, is that what the future of NASCAR looks like? Will NASCAR become so decentralized that it'll be like the wild west? Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's not. I don't know. It's just, I think this time next year, regardless of who wins the lawsuit, the NASCAR Cup Series landscape will look very different. And it's too early to say if that's going to be a good or a bad thing either way,
Yeah.
which I don't know. I just find it really interesting. I guess we'll count down the days till December.
I'd argue no matter what way this goes, whether it's settle, whether teams win, NASCAR wins, whatever, I don't think we see the true scope of it until we find out what the next TV deal is, to find out the money needed or the money that, what way that money goes. The big thing is whatever way you can find out how to follow the money, that is how things will change. And we'll start seeing that more. But like, I think that you're probably not going to see stuff right away, like you said, but by 2030, 2031, like, I think that's when you're really going to feel that effect, whether it be as a fan, media, driver, anyone else in the industry.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I just want a Cup Series where I could start up a new team and go running, and I could get an equal part of the pie. The charter system, I don't know what your guys' opinions are, but I personally think it's like one of the worst things that they did. It cut out so many people from having a chance. And I get the whole reason why you want to guarantee, you want to be locked into all the races. But as long as you stay to the top 35 in points, you were guaranteed to that. There was competition. It added a layer of competition. It was fun. This is what they get by instituting these charters. It was only a matter of time before something went wrong.
Yeah, no, I think that's about right. Like, the stability it granted the existing teams, I get why that was, a good thing. But you're right. It stabilized some of the current teams at the expense of now making it harder for new teams to get in. It was a trade-off that, yeah, you're right. Sometimes I think it's good. Sometimes it's probably not good. But we can move on. I've said all I have to say.
One other big point, we'll get a little reckless speculation here, is schedule stuff. So, we've been talking a lot about San Diego, right? And this one came from Dale Jr.'s 50th side gig, is the Bless Your Heart podcast, where he just casually, like 30 minutes in, kind of dropped in that San Diego, according to what he knows, which I kind of trust Redneck Jesus to know a lot about NASCAR here, it would take Mexico's spot on the schedule, and Mexico would move to somewhere else on the schedule. Now, immediately people talked about in NASCAR, like NASCAR people talked about how Mexico more than likely next year would have a bye week either before or after. So people are like, oh, it's got to be right before Easter. It's right at the end of March. Whereas San Diego being on prime street race, you'd imagine probably, I would assume it'd be after the 600 roughly. I think now that they can get the logistics more together with it and not just bank on it being Montreal. But that was the big kind of Molotov thrown in there. There's, of course, been the Chicagoland talk, and Carson Hocevar has just brought all that up as we're talking. I haven't looked at my phone in a bit, but I guarantee you he's putting more pictures and videos out there of it. So it's like the schedule rumor is churning, man.
I was going to say Carson Hocevar actually tweeted he's about to get on a plane, I think, but he said he filmed most of what he saw at Chicagoland Speedway till his phone died. He wasn't going to do anything with them, but might as well. He said, I'm going to throw them all together and put it on YouTube tonight.
Cool.
Nice.
So I actually reached out to him, told me, hey, let me know whenever you post that. I'll let you know on the show. But he said it's probably going to be like 2 hours or so with the plane flight and getting back, and the Wi-Fi is terrible on the plane. So it's going to be a little bit. So it might be after we're off the air when he puts that up.
He's got to charge his phone.
But, there's been talk about the schedule stuff, and like all the rumors can't all be true because there's just not enough space in the schedule unless you start taking races away from existing tracks. At this point, I'm almost kind of like, which one of the rumors do you feel are the more realistic ones? Because we got San Diego, we got Mexico coming back, Chicagoland, and I feel like there's like another one in there somewhere. What
I want to know, and I'm just throwing this out there, Jared, I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers here, but I just want to know, if the Chicago street race ends after this year, is Chicagoland the replacement or is San Diego the replacement? or is San Diego separate? Because maybe San Diego's a Mexico replacement, but then if Mexico stays on the schedule, like you're saying, it would have to replace a Darlington or a Bristol, something. And but if the San Diego is strictly a Chicago street replacement, what does that do to the Chicagoland rumors? That's what I just want to like. Does NASCAR want 2 street races, or are they fully prepared for Chicago to not return? Are they committed to Chicagoland coming back? Because I think it would be a great race. I don't know. That's what I would wonder if those are related at all.
I saw some too, and this is like from what the vetting looked like, it seemed like it was somebody kind of in the know too. And I'd have to double check with people I know on it, but they're talking about like Chicagoland possibly being repaved for next year, like as an option. There's somebody.
Leave it alone.
I'm on the same boat, man. Same boat, because I know if they repave it, like there's that chance of it being like
destroyed,
destroyed. Yeah, 1-lane racetrack. Because I already know if they come back and it's repaved and it's a 1-lane racetrack and it sucks, that everyone's gonna be like, see, this is why we never should have come back here. It sucked the whole time. So my thing is, I think all 3 of them are realistic to happen. But, and I don't think people are gonna like this, NASCAR put a precedent out there that if you didn't have good consistent racing and you didn't have good attendance, we will pull your dates away. I remember talking to Ben Kennedy about the same thing at Nashville a couple of years ago, and he brought up like attendance is something that is very big for them. They look at on top of television ratings, obviously, and the networks with that. And I put it in a video. People are not going to like this. ISC would probably be the one removing a date. Could it come down to removing, say, a spring Darlington date? We've had everyone talk about how played out the throwback weekend is, and everyone always isn't for it. We need to put it down for a few years. That weekend is not something they've been attached to the hip with for the last 40 years. Remember, that went away from 2004 until COVID, and that was actually Chicagoland's date that was used to put Darlington on the schedule the next year for their first of then 2 races. Could that be sort of a whip back to it? I get the remove the Phoenix that people are saying. They've confirmed, Bob has confirmed Phoenix has 2 dates next year. And NASCAR put too much money into it, in my opinion, that I don't think they can bail on it. Could removing, say, a Darlington race or a Martinsville race? I hate the idea.
I don't think they would do that. I think Darlington has legs because, like you said, that date has been fluid for years now.
It's been flexible for how many years now?
Exactly. The only other one, and I don't think they would do this. I'd have to go back and look at what the attendance was. Kansas.
It was rough.
The racing is usually very good, but the attendance is iffy at Kansas. So, yeah,
I'm gonna throw one out there also that I think could gain a ton from one date. But I know they'll never do this because they put a whole lot of money into reconstructing it. Where are they going this weekend? The attendance, you can see all the empty grandstands at Atlanta.
But that's SMI. It's a little bit harder to work with their stuff.
Maybe, yeah.
Could they swing something with like maybe I'm trying to think like maybe
here's an idea. Timothy, replace Kansas with Chicagoland, and then I'm going to add this part on. Then replace the Chicago street race with San Diego. Bada bing, bada boom. Then I don't know what you do with Mexico, but maybe Mexico's not on the schedule next year. I feel like that's also kind of 50-50.
Mexico, yeah, 50-50. But if Mexico does come, I'd replace it with Darlington.
Sure. There you go. Boom. Ben Kennedy, we just did your job.
But what about North Wilkesboro? It needs a points race. Fox kept telling me so.
Okay.
And Fox is always right.
Hey, for real though, that might actually be if we need to drop a Martinsville because it's a short track, similar markets, very close to each other.
ISC, SMI. I mean, how do you play that?
Drop
one?
Spring Bristol.
Or if you want ISC, I should say, not IMS or whatever I said. ISC, if you want them to play ball, maybe say, you know what? We'll drop one of our dates to give you Wilkesboro. You give us the all-star race. Could be a fair trade-off.
Yeah.
You know,
and then we'll send it to Brazil.
They've already, ISC has already kind of budged a bit when it came to, hey, we'll give what looks like, you part of the championship rotation, regardless of the format, regardless of any of that. Like Vegas could get the finale. So like they've already kind of went one way. Maybe SMI has to budge a little bit more and work together with it more.
Ironically, a Kansas Speedway All-Star race would be fun.
Yeah, it would. I just am wondering like how because the thing with Kansas is like you would have to. The thing with Kansas is it's like with a lot of these tracks is lap traffic is a big part of keeping those leaders close, unless you just do what you did at Texas and you give them like 15 lap runs for 6, 7, 8 stages or whatever the hell they did. But
actually, because of closeness to Charlotte, if Darlington lost a actual points race, a Darlington All-Star race would be fun.
I'd be interested.
I want a Darlington finale. I think that would be incredible.
Would you just move the Southern 500 then?
It's good on Labor Day. It's like it's a really nice way to close out the summer.
That's a tough thing, yeah.
I had saw, so one of the rumors, again, there's nothing concrete yet with the whole playoff thing. It's why we really aren't talking too much about it yet, because there's literally nothing that's sticking right now. But one of the things that popped up was the playoffs next year might go down a race and be 9 races and just be 3-3-3, right? So would Darlington be the regular season finale again, or would they fudge up the schedule and have a bye week in the playoffs somewhere or between them or something? Like, I don't know how they'd make that work, but it's like, if you're going to have, if you would move it to any, I feel like the finale would work. And then you put Daytona on Labor Day weekend. Like that could be something they could do. There's so many things in the weeds on the schedule. And I feel like it's almost malpractice by NASCAR, regardless of what they do with the format next year. Like it's kind of malpractice to make the schedule, especially important dates, before you know how it's going to affect and how it would play into whatever you choose.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
you got to have
weird
the format
part.
first.
Yeah, and if they don't, like if they legitimately don't, and they're debating this stuff into October and they already have the schedule, it's like it's just gonna be just like 2014, where some tracks are gonna be really good for this and other tracks are really gonna suck in the place that they're at right now. So I'm interested in what way it's going though, and I feel like we're gonna keep finding this stuff out all week, like all week long, all month long, until I feel like it's gonna go until like the week before we get the schedule announcement. We're gonna get random ass rumors popping up as it goes, and I can't wait. Man,
can't wait until eventually it's time to get that schedule.
Yeah, it's gonna come out next week. 6 months later. Okay, it's finally out. Guys, we talked a lot about serious stuff and topics like that. You guys want to have some fun? Want to get some fun?
Yes, I like fun.
I love fun. All
right. Let's get to it then. Let's start out with our predictions segment. So putting the rules up on the screen here. Each host will make 2 NASCAR motorsports or show-related predictions. Predictions are kept track of each week in our accountability session. And we'll try and keep them concise within a few years, but we can play it by ear or just it can sound right, whatever we do. We'll know it when we hear it. As for the accountability session this week, I said Al Michaels would be part of at least one NASCAR broadcast on Prime. I should have just said one of the Thursday night football crew would have been, and I would have got it right.
You get Ryan Fitzpatrick, and you'll be happy. That sounds like every NFL team in the mid 2010s.
Was he wearing a fat suit? Like I swear, at one point he looked bigger than he did later in the broadcast when he was wearing the fire suit.
I don't know. I mean, he don't play no more, so he might just be getting bigger.
But yeah, I got that one right. I thought they'd like have him commentate a segment or something for the 600, just something small if you had to. But alas, they did not.
Wait, I think you just said I got that right, but no, you didn't.
Danny, nothing came off the board this week for you. So yeah, status quo.
Played it safe.
Eric said Denny Hamlin would lead 10 or more laps at Pocono. You got that one right. You said AJ Allmendinger would be a top 10 seed in the in-season tournament.
I didn't expect him to get wrecked at Mexico City. Otherwise, I maybe had a shot at that.
That was a pretty good layup on that Denny Hamlin one. I will say that.
As for percentages on the year, I am now leading 33.33%. Danny at 32.5 and Eric at 25.53 all time. I lead at a flat 40. Danny at 31.33 and Eric at 29.87.
You just gave Thado 2 chances to go 33.3333, 31.333333.
He's gonna do it of you this time. We'll switch it up. So I'll give my first one here. I think RCR leads 75% or more of the Xfinity race.
Oh, that's easy.
Not necessarily. I did that last Atlanta race and I got it wrong.
And you did at Talladega and got it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to be the one to break through on this one. They're going to call it layup because the chat has no
I wouldn't call it a
imagination.
layup. It's bit me in the butt before.
It's bit him twice, and it bit people last year. No one's actually got it right when they predict this.
Oh, well, that's okay. Then I'm glad
That's
you
why I
predicted
predicted it. That's why I did it. Like I was like, I'm going to make sure I do something that hasn't been done before if I get it right.
All right. My first one. Since we are on TNT, a big part of Turner is their coverage of AEW, the alternate to WWE. And we've seen a lot of WWE wrestlers be on when they've been on stuff like USA or Fox, when they both had partnership with the networks and the wrestling organizations. This being TNT, we have Swerve coming on this weekend. I'm going to say Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, will show up to a NASCAR race during the TNT run.
Okay. I'm going to lead with this prediction because I was worried that this would be called a layup, and I don't think it is. My prediction is that Austin Hill will not win at Atlanta this weekend.
Damn it, you took mine.
I'm sorry. And people are going to say layup. Well, yeah, of course, I'll take the field. Austin Hill has won 5 of the last 6 Atlanta races. Like, this is not a layup, but I'm taking it. I need Austin Hill to falter finally, please.
Wait, he lost one of them. Layup. I feel like they type in layup before we even say something and then put it in and they're like, oh crap, no, that's actually a good one.
Sorry, Michael.
Well, yeah, you just swiped that one away from me.
We should let the guest go first in this segment next time, Jarrett.
We can do something long term. I'm going to say Legacy Motor Clubs reaches victory lane by the end of 2026.
Okay, that's a good one.
I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but I definitely see it coming next year.
All right. I had to put that one on screen. Spencer nailed it. All right, back to me here. I'm going to predict this one. The Atlanta race this week will be below 90% on the iceberg poll for positivity, which is not something that's a layup either. I was looking back, and Atlanta's pretty damn high on the poll. The only one that was kind of off was like last year's, and I think that's because Joey Logano won. It's a popular race, but I don't know, man. I feel like you get off of the time with Prime. Everyone's going to be pissed, even if TNT is really good. If they're not as good as Prime, which they're not going to be, and there's so many things it could be shortened by rain. That's what happened last time. It was a night race in the summer. So I'm going to go with that one.
Let's see. Views have been pretty bad towards the end of the Prime run, unfortunately. But we're going back to TV, and I'm going to say it's going to be a good thing for NASCAR. And the Cup race at Echo Park will cross 3.5 million viewers on TNT.
Jesus, man.
Damn.
When's the last time a cable race hit 3.5? I got to look this up now.
Hey, it's also being simulcast on HBO Max, if I'm not mistaken. So
and True TV.
So maybe
I'm banking on the multiple areas that's back on TV so we can stop hearing, I can't find it.
Oh,
I ain't buying a subscription.
I'm prepared to get that one wrong, but
I have to pay for NASCAR. I have cable. Why should I do that?
I'll stick with RCR for my predictions, and I'll go more positive this time. This man has finished top 10 in 5 straight Atlanta Cup races. I think Kyle Busch gets himself another top 10 this Saturday night.
Oh, I'm trying to think what is going to be the dumbest race of the weekend. I'm going to say of the 3 races this weekend, Lime Rock sees the most cautions.
That feels safe. I like that.
Okay.
By the way, I looked up, Danny. The last time a Capel race got over 3.5 million viewers was the second Pocono race of 2017.
Oh, well, this is better than a Pocono race, so we're good.
I would agree with you on that one. So, hold on, I'm just looking in the chat. I already knew we made the joke about streaming cable. There'd be people asking about that, but all right. So that was
I
fun.
probably should have just said 3 and called it a day. I was greedy with that extra half.
That $500,000 take down the best of men.
All right. Well, that was fun. Let's have a little more fun. But in order to do this, I need the 3 of you to hide the chat on your end. No cheating.
I don't
no
want
looking
to.
it up.
Get out of here, chat.
Nope. It is time for
I actually made the
random
chat full screen.
driver of the week.
My entire screen is nothing but the chat.
That literally just happened for me for a second. I had to minimize
Cheater
it. My bad.
boy. Cheater boy.
It was just funny that it happened to get huge.
Was that a hint? Was that a hint? Did you just give us a hint?
Maybe. I don't know.
Keelan Harvick. Final answer.
That's a guess.
All right. He's predicting the future. All right. So just a rundown for everybody at home. Random driver of the week. I will throw out a bunch of clues. This week I have 24 of those. And these guys will guess. You have 3 guesses that you're able to shoot out there. And if you get it, you get it. If not, just don't cheat. That's all I ask. Last 5. Danny won last week, getting Angela Ruck. Eric had 2 in a row before that with Christian Fittipaldi and Chase Briscoe. If you remember that one, Eric got Chase Briscoe right because I talked about how he had to lose weight. Like Briscoe catching strays. Oh man. And then the 2 weeks before that were the end of my streak where I got the guys on Jody Ridley and Hut Strickland. All right. Let's get this baby going. This random driver is from Cleveland, North Carolina.
Go Browns.
This random driver also never raced in the Cup Series. Nothing.
No, keep going.
I'm not too familiar with
Cleveland,
Ohio,
North Carolina wasn't enough for me.
Yeah,
sorry.
Cleveland, North Carolina.
No Cup. So thanks for telling us about someone who sucks, Jarrett.
This random driver won the 2013 ARCA Truck Series Rookie of the Year award.
The ARCA Truck
There's
Series?
a truck series?
Yes. Till 2016 there was.
Is it bad that I could say I've never heard of this? I didn't.
No, I didn't either until I looked it up. Like I'm not acting like I
it
knew
feels
it-
like we should know what that is.
I knew it existed because one time when there was a truck race, it was so bad. I just tweeted a picture of the ARCA Truck Series logo.
Was that included in NASCAR's purchase? Or are they still functioning on their own?
Do they have that IP still?
It said it went under in 2016.
Oh man, can't imagine why.
This random driver made 3 ARCA starts, all of which were in 2017. Main ARCA, not ARCA trucks. It was gone by then.
3 ARCA starts in 2017.
Yes.
Still not enough.
This random driver's best ARCA finish was at Elko, finishing 19th.
Stop talking about ARCA, dude. We're not going to get it.
Did this person do anything at an ARCA? My gosh.
This random driver's first Xfinity start was at Richmond.
Thank you. We're getting somewhere now.
And it's recent. It's sometime recently.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This random driver made this start, the first start, as well as all 7 Xfinity starts with MBM.
Oh my God.
MBM.
Well,
What's
they have a different driver every week.
What's his brother's name? Is it? I don't know. Never. I'm not gonna even guess. I'll wait.
Come on.
Mm-mm.
The buzzer yearns to be clicked.
Mm-mm.
All right, let's go to another one here. This random driver's career best Xfinity finish was 27th in 2018 at Kansas. To be fair to you guys, only a few people have got it so far. So
In the chat.
yeah, it's not like it's a ton.
I'm just gonna throw out a random guess and just say, is it Landon Huffman?
Landon Huffman. Incorrect.
That sounds like a reasonable guess.
I knew he had a short-lived time in NASCAR, and I just didn't remember what. And he's from North Carolina, I assume. So
The unfortunate part of it is I feel like I gave the least amount of a crap while this driver was like doing his thing about
Yeah.
NASCAR because of how bad Jimmy sucked.
I get that. 2017 was not exactly a great time for me either. It was 2016-17 as a fan. So this random driver was a pit crew member at JR Motorsports as a catch can man in 2003 all the way to 2005. I guarantee I said catch can man, and there's at least a quarter of our chat that's like, what the hell did you just say?
wait, at what time did you say?
JR Motorsports,
Oh, okay. So
Wait, for what were the years?
2003 to 2005.
but this is not
Well,
Junior Motorsport.
Yeah, this would have to be
No,
like.
it's Junior Motorsports.
Was Junior Motorsports around at 03?
Oh, we're talking like late
Oh,
models or
he
something.
had
Oh.
small team. Okay.
I see.
Yes.
Okay. All
Yes.
right.
This random driver's younger brother raced in all three of the top series in NASCAR.
I'm gonna throw out a name. I don't think the ages line up, but I'm gonna say Tyler Hill.
Tyler Hill. That is
Didn't think so.
incorrect. So one off the board for Danny and Eric. Michael still has 3 shots left in the chamber.
I don't even have one to guess.
He just,
Honestly,
he's just gonna say Gemini just for the fun of it.
We already did that one. That was I think the first or second random driver we ever did was Jimmy.
Actually, no, it was pretty far down the list. I see it here actually.
This random driver's father was a winning ARCA driver and also drove in all 3 of the top series in NASCAR.
Oh my God.
is chat still kind of like undecided?
So
Some are.
their brother and their father both made it to all 3 series, but they only ever made it to Xfinity
Correct.
and ARCA.
Yes. This random driver, do you guys need pens and papers for numbers and
I'm gonna have to
manufacturers?
start jotting
I
down
have
something.
feeling
here.
we're not gonna have that many numbers, but we'll see.
Let me know when you guys are ready for me to list off the numbers.
Yep.
I'm ready.
Michael, if you need to pen and paper, go for it.
No, Daddy's writing them down. He'll share.
Will I?
Well, the numbers are this: 3, 13, 40, 66, and 96.
Yeah, not that many. Like I thought.
The OEMs ran were Chevy, Ford, and Toyota.
All the Chaos Emeralds.
So wait, were those the car numbers in Xfinity or just across the board?
Across the board.
That's across the board. That's
Jesus
everything.
Christ.
I know this is rough, man. This is.
And I feel like it's going to be so like, oh yeah, once we figure this out.
This random driver still does occasionally race at local short tracks in North Carolina.
I need
What
some
was that?
NASCAR facts, man.
Well, this isn't a NASCAR fact, but this random driver was arrested for a DUI in 2013.
Oh man, that's not a fun fact.
Still won ARCA Truck Rookie of the Year, man.
Oh, is he about to have a brain blast?
According to his LinkedIn account, this random driver currently is a critical security advisor. This helps with like home security and stuff like that.
Okay. Good for them.
This random driver has 4 children and helps, I think the oldest it is, with their racing career.
Okay, no, I'm wrong.
I got no clue who this is. This might be the least clue I've had in a while.
This random driver is also an avid hunter and fisherman, much like many others in his family.
Jeb Burton. Shoot, maybe it is Jeb Burton.
Is that your
No,
guess?
no, it's probably not Jeb Burton.
I'm gonna put the damn microphone through the screen in a second. I'm getting frustrated.
This random driver has an affinity with buying and selling cattle for his family's ranch. So a farmer, much like others previously in his family.
He's a farmer and he shoots things. Maybe the cattle.
Maybe.
Mad cow disease.
This random driver is the only member of his family that is from a town outside of Kannapolis or Mooresville, North Carolina.
Okay, all right, okay.
Was that a guess? Like you got something?
No, I just now it's like I'm no longer stuck on Cleveland, North Carolina. Like now I have some other towns to work with.
This random driver's uncle and grandfather are NASCAR champions.
Is this Carrie Earnhardt?
Is that your guess?
I don't even know who is. Yeah, sure.
Is that your guess?
Yes.
I knew that was wrong.
Wait, could you
He
repeat
made,
that
he
one?
made it to cup.
This
Oh,
random
yes, he did.
driver's uncle and grandfather
And grandfather.
are NASCAR champions.
Uncle and so like the whole rest of the family did great, but him.
What?
They all were in all. They were all in all 3 series. They got uncles and grandpas. Uncle Grandpa winning a championship in
Younger
NASCAR.
brothers racing in there.
It's I just watched the Earnhardt docuseries. Who it's got to be one of them, right?
Oh,
I don't know their names.
You got it?
Carrie.
oh, what's his name? Oh, damn it!
I think I know who this is, but I
know
don't
who
remember
it
the
is.
name.
It's the one with the 2 names. He's got 2 first names. He's like Ricky Bobby.
Bobby Dale Earnhardt.
Bobby Dale.
Danny got it.
No,
Bobby
that
Dale
was me.
Earnhardt.
Come on.
No,
Hey,
he said
you
it
can't
first.
make that mistake on this show.
I came up with the 2 first names. That's how you got it.
I don't think Bobby Dale Earnhardt
Exactly.
was on the
You
Prime
gave
show.
it to me, and I knew it.
Oh,
Dang it, Bobby.
Dang
I
it,
would have
Bobby.
come up with it.
Oh man, that is a Eric made that
What's his
mistake.
relationship again? To I don't remember.
So Bobby Dale Earnhardt is Jeffrey's older brother.
Okay, so he is Carrie's son.
Sheesh.
Okay.
Yes, and
Dale.
I literally had 2 clues left, and one was the first grandson of Dale Earnhardt, who is older than Dale Earnhardt's youngest daughter, and born the same year as his grandpa's 3rd championship.
I mean, once you started saying Kannapolis and Uncle, I was like, okay, it's an Earnhardt, but I'd lose track of the Earnhardts after a while.
I remember randomly back when I first got on social media, I would just see a ton on Facebook for whatever reason of Bobby Dale Earnhardt. And I was like, was this the next Earnhardt coming up?
Was it him, I believe, that was the one that they did a feature on Race Hub about?
I
And
think
he did lawnmower racing, where he was on one of those 4-wheel
Yeah.
lawnmowers and he would race it like a dirt track. They'd take the blade off and race him.
And
Like
he also shoots cattle.
You know, for the longest time, I can't remember this guy's name, but there was another guy. He randomly drove the 3 car for a little bit for RCR, and I can't remember his name. And for some reason, I was thinking of him. Do you know what I'm talking about? The guy who wasn't part of the family, he just randomly driving the 3 car for him for a few years.
I can't, but that's good. That's a good option for a random driver one day.
Damn. I am upset. That was mine.
Shane Lee.
Over here, he
Shane
stole the
Lee, yep.
48 away from me, and now he's stealing Bobby Dale. That was my random driver.
To be fair,
but you
Eric
can't
learned
do
this.
that. You can't
Yeah,
do that.
Eric
Now
learned
I
this
know how
one year.
cutthroat it is. I did the math. I haven't been on this show in 1,140 days. How was
Oh
I
my
supposed to
God.
know that y'all were like freaking so cutthroat and
Watch
so
us.
ruthless with random drivers?
Watch us.
Vicious.
I'm
That's
hearing
how
him
you
say
find
that.
out.
I'm hearing him say so how many days, and it just reminded me of that account on Twitter that replies to everyone going, "Did you know it's been 1,000 something days since Bubba Wallace got a win?" Like that's what I thought of as soon as he goes. It's been 1,040 days. It's been 86 years. We'll have to get you on more again so you can redeem yourself from the shame of Bobby Dale Earnhardt.
On the bright side, there was 24 clues for that one, and now I have 24 correct. I take the lead.
Yes, Danny has the lead now.
Bullshit.
It's very cutthroat. All right, we've had our fun. I think it is time to head into the race weekend at Atlanta and Lime Rock. A lot of season or weekend notes, I should say, and season altering fun stuff here. So first off, it's the start of the in-season tournament on TNT, which is returning this weekend. Mike Joy will be in Lime Rock as part of the broadcast, but he is not calling the race. Jamie Little is.
Lame.
Ooh.
I love Jamie Little calling races. She's my favorite broadcast.
I just
Did
muted
you-
him. I'm sorry.
I was like, who muted him?
Sorry. I wasn't sure if I
Oh,
cut
is
that.
that why? Oh, that's what that meant.
We had to cut the feed.
I thought I accidentally hit it because I had my thing over Michael's for a minute, and I was like, "Oh shit, did I hit that?" And then
I
he's
was
like,
hoping
muted
like
him.
a red light would pop up when I pressed it, but no, he just went silent. It looked like an internet glitch. So I'm sorry. I was hoping it'd be more of a show.
We can't have me saying that. We got to cut the feed, guys.
What is Mike Joy going to be doing there for Fox?
He's going to be enjoying himself.
He's in the grandstand.
Maybe he's fighting.
He'll be at
off
the tweet up.
Internet warriors. The keyboard warriors. Maybe he's fighting against.
I'm
Lots of guys.
an internet warrior.
Lots of guys for the Cup side of things here. Corey LaJoy is back racing the 01 with Rick Ware. David Starr's in the 66. BJ McLeod's in the 78 for Live Fast. And Connor Zilich is in the 87 this week for Trackhouse. And I will also bring up that means we have a full field this week, 40 cars for Atlanta. And then
BJ
also
McLeod and the mountain coaster car again, I think.
I think so. I'd have to double check, but I think so. There's our croissants. And then one last thing before we get into the races. Eric Almirola is racing the 19 for JGR and Xfinity this weekend. So plan accordingly for picks if you want him. Let's go in chronological order of how the races are going to go this weekend. The Xfinity race is the Focused Health 250, 163 laps, 45, 45, 73, 7:30 start time on the CW, PRN, and Sirius XM with the radio call. Friday's forecast, it's not great because it's 89 scattered thunderstorms, 38% chance of rain, but the chances of the storms go up as the night goes on. Austin Hill, your defending winner. Truck race is the Liuna 150, 100 laps, 35, 35, 30 is the stage breakdown, 1 p.m. Eastern time on Big Fox. Last race of the year on Big Fox and the Fox Sports app. NRN radio has the coverage with Sirius XM. Thunderstorms, 75 degrees, 79% chance of thunderstorms.
Up on the rain tires.
And apparently it's supposed to rain in the morning and storm more as the afternoon.
Oh, well,
into
then
the
it
evening.
don't matter about the rain tires then.
Yeah. This is the inaugural event, so there's no defending winner. The Quaker State 400 is the Cup race, 260 laps, 60, 100, 100. 7 p.m. Eastern time is the start time for that one. TNT, HBO Max, and True TV all have coverage or alt coverage of it. True TV having the alt coverage for the in-season tournament. TNT and HBO Max having the race itself. PRN and Sirius XM with the radio call. Joey Logano, the defending winner. The forecast, 89 degrees and getting cooler as the night goes. Scattered thunderstorms before midnight. Chances do go up before they go down before midnight. 45% chance of those. So we might be in for a weather weekend, or maybe, I don't know, knock on wood, things go right. It's Mother Nature against NASCAR, so I doubt it. As for the pick points, we have a new leader in them. Eric has taken the lead with 284
what the hell?
points. I am down by 2. Thanks for nothing, Sheldon Creed. Danny minus 18 and chat minus 19.
We improved a lot, man, chat, though.
Yeah, it's getting close. That's the way we set it up. It's like a rubber band now. But for the picks, we're going to go in order of biggest series to smallest series. And unfortunately, chat, you don't get the first pick because we have a guest. So let's go on into the truck picks this week. Michael, start us off. Who wins the truck race?
A truck race that's probably going to be a wreck fest. That's going to be in like monsoon-like conditions. I might as well pick Jack Wood. No, that's not my pick.
No,
I'm gonna write it down.
He already said it. It's too late.
No, you got Bobby Dale. I can have this. Who do I think's gonna be able to turn right real good? Oh man, Jordan Taylor.
Ooh, I was hoping he'd be on the board.
He was actually number 2 on my list.
Yeah, good pick.
What number is he running this week?
He's in the 7.
He's in the best fire
Ooh.
truck, so
He's got Brian Patty, so yeah, he's got the best one.
All right, so now the chat is next, and I
yeah,
am
it's time.
shocked.
Okay.
It's time.
Wow, who would have guessed?
We got some real originals in chat tonight, don't we?
I'm gonna be extra original. Are you ready for this? Lane Riggs.
Boo.
Whoa.
All right. Well,
I almost fell out of my chair.
then I'm going to go with the first guy on my board still. He's pretty solid at road courses, leads laps, did so especially like at places like Mid-Ohio. I'm going to go Ty Majeski.
You believe in him?
I do. It's a skill-based track.
Give me one moment. I'm trying to confirm one thing.
Trying to confirm if Juan Pablo Montoya is eligible for a truck race now.
Okay, I can't. I'm torn. I am torn. All right. No, I don't. I'm going to go bold. I'm going to go really bold on this one.
Let's do
This
it.
is going to be crazy. Someone's going to clip this. None of us took Cam Waters, Supercars driver, coming over here. Thor Sport Equipment. We're not going to pick Cam Waters because we're foolish. Instead, I'm going to take the young, unproven Thomas Annunziata in the 07 truck.
Oh,
I was wondering who would take that.
well, this is going to be great.
I
This
was
is gonna
torn
be
between
awesome.
those two. I had them both as 4-5 on my board.
See, I had Ankrum on my board because he's surprisingly consistent at road courses. But the other two I had above him, I liked better. So let's go on over to the Xfinity Series. Michael, who is your pick to win the Xfinity race at Echo Park, Atlanta?
Yeah, thank you for the clarification. I don't know what Echo Park is.
And why? Tell us why you're picking this person. Just getting over that.
I'm looking at the entry list. I so desperately want to go out on a leg. That was a pun.
Yeah.
Laugh, damn it.
No, you don't have to laugh at that. It wasn't very good. It's a super speedway. Could be any of these people.
No, I can't.
Well, damn. Thanks, Daddy. You've just been shooting me down all night.
Can I lob in a suggestion?
Sure, I'll take some.
Richard Childress Racing has won a lot of these Xfinity Series races at Atlanta.
But
That's why I said no,
really
I can't.
Don't want to go that route because I'm really kind of sick of it, and I know the chat is as well.
No, they're not. They're wanting you to not pick any of them.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to pick Richard Childress because they don't want. I'm trying to give the chat what they want. Carson Voppel.
God damn it. I already know which way the chat's going with this. Do we even need to leave? There it goes.
Cat's
There it
gonna
goes.
get the big bully.
Well, they've been saying Jesse too.
I think they're going 21. Yeah.
It's okay. Well, give me Jesse then.
I see a lot of 21.
Damn it. I'll go Eric Almirola.
That was my number 3.
Oh, all right. I'll take Allgaier. He's just he's pretty good everywhere.
Yeah, I mean he leads a lot. He's led a lot of laps there during this.
Yeah.
So
It's not a flashy pick.
I'm glad Michael didn't take an RCR because at least I got one of them.
and we don't have a flashy graphic for this one. Michael, who's gonna suck in the Cup race?
Who's gonna suck in the Cup race?
Yeah.
All right, so I shouldn't pick like someone like that has crappy equipment.
I mean, you can do that if you want. The chat does it all the time.
I'm gonna say, I think Hamster's string of good runs ends.
Oh,
He's been really good at the
is
new
Ty
Atlanta.
Dillon gonna upset him in the bracket this week?
You'll have to watch my video on Friday to find out.
Oh, good. Nice. I teed you up for that one. There you go.
Don't fall for the 22 one. It's just one person doing the same damn thing over and over again.
I really hate Joey Logano this week.
They're saying Larson though. I'm saying a lot of 5s.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too.
He almost won here in February.
He's figuring it out.
He's been getting better in general at super speedways, and I don't think people are ready for when he wins the Daytona 500 one of these days.
He'll get out and say, I'd rather be in Tulsa.
I'm just gonna take some low hanging fruit here. Riley Herbst.
Dang.
Wow, way to kick
I'm
a
gonna-
man when he's
Low
down.
hanging fruit on a good team though. So let's.
I'm going to go with the guy who's statistically, I think, the worst out of all that have started every single race at New Atlanta, Noah Gragson. He's atrocious here.
Oh, that's actually not a bad pick. Gregson's been he's just been kind of going through it lately. I will go Suarez. He was he's been so good here the last few years, but was so disappointing in February. So I'll go 99.
All right, Michael, dark horse for the Cup race. Who's somebody that nobody's looking at? Remember, you can't pick the suck or dark horse for your win pick either. So keep that in mind.
I don't know if he's really a dark horse anymore, but immediately when you said that, the first name that popped into my head was Nemechek.
Oh, that's actually a pretty good one. I think.
No, that's a good one.
That's a really good one. Chat going Gilliland.
Yes, you're going
Gilliland.
Toddley.
Todifer.
Who are you going with, Danny?
Cole Custer.
Cole Custer. All right. I'm going to go with Corey LaJoy. People hate on him. Dude's a good super speedway driver.
LaJoy is not a bad pick at all. Give me Justin Haley.
Ooh, old hailstorm. All right.
Mhm.
I heard that this race for Corey LaJoy cost the second year tuition from his children. That's how he's able to run this weekend.
Hey, education's overrated.
And with that,
College.
let's
I didn't go to
see.
college.
who's going to win the Cup race. I love that. It's like here at NASCAR, we don't value education. We're not living the stereotype. I swear to God. But Michael, who do you think is going to win this week?
If he grows out the Fu Manchu. But even if he doesn't, I'm still picking him.
All
Going
right.
Chase.
I mean, I got this at New Hampshire the week after. They made this shirt specifically for his Atlanta win for whatever the reason.
Damn.
I don't know.
Hold on. Let's see if I can am I able to put him?
I can't even tell if you can see it or not.
Am I able to put him bigger than the rest of us for a second? There it is.
Yeah, there you go. So,
That's our boy. Is that what
Yeah,
that says?
they sold this at New Hampshire. I don't know if they sold it at any other track, but it was right after he won Atlanta in 2022.
Guys, the chat is going with Austin Cindric. There's a ton of 2s in the chat.
Honestly,
Not a bad pick.
he was number 1 on my board.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, that's a great pick.
Yep.
Now watch, he crashes as soon as I say that.
Then in that case, they're taking Cindric. I am taking For the second week in a row, he's number one on my board, Denny Hamlin.
Old hamster.
Wow. This is getting crazy. Okay.
Well, I kind of lied. Centric wasn't number one on my board. Ryan Blaney was. I'm going to go Blaney.
Oh man, I don't feel it's always funny. I tier list my picks, and then you guys like take my first choice, then my third choice, then my second choice, and then it gets to my fourth choice. And I suddenly am like, damn, I don't like this as my fourth choice. That happens every week.
Welcome to my world the last
But
few
yet
weeks as the leader.
you're still leading, so
And in fact, my number 2 is still on the board, and I still don't feel great about it.
Dude,
Shoot,
it gets
all right.
that point, man. It makes it harder these days to choose these races.
I could double down on my prediction earlier that Kyle Busch is going to finish top 10, but doubling down on Kyle Busch to do something positive is not a good strategy in the year 2025. So I'm instead going to go with my number 2 overall pick. That is Joey Logano.
all three of the people I wrote down were not taken.
Hey, I just want to say this for those that say that the podcast hosts and chat always pick the Hendrick cars. It wasn't us this week.
Yeah, I guess Michael's the only one who picked one. Yeah,
The
I thought about picking Byron. I thought about it.
The other two I had
That'd be good too.
was Byron and Hocevar.
Byron.
I did have Kyle Busch, but I scratched him out.
All right, guys. Well, now we've reached that point. Let's finish this baby off with the final super chat stage break. And God damn, people, there's a lot. All right, let's get to it. Beast of Metal for the 5 years says, that said, talking about opening the books, NASCAR needs to have its books forced open too, so we can also see how much damage they've done by unfairly diverting secondary revenue. Probably not wrong. In Minecraft, anyone at NASCAR listening for in Minecraft, Chris here for the 2 says, burn it, mileage monitor for Top Prime TV edition, the burn bar. I love that.
Once I finally understood what they were talking about, it's actually pretty good.
I like it. I like it a lot. Beast of Metal. I will backtrack a bit from the comments I left on E-Step and Iceberg's bracket vids. In the in-season tournament is merely the dumbest thing I've seen in motorsports since the top 30 playoff limit was axed. Here's the thing. I don't see the issue with the in-season tournament. It does nothing championship-wise. It's just a thing for fun. It's to me, it's like a modernized noble race. Like
a lot.
That's what it is to me.
I'll just say fans didn't seem to complain when Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s media company was peddling it a year ago. So sometimes it just matters who's pitching it. Let's put it that way.
Justin with the 50 says, they said Briscoe was actually going faster because he was getting huge runs off the corners and running 5th gear turn 2 while Hamlin and Blaney were pushing and at times pushing too hard to try and catch him despite the bad air. I do know they talked about, and there's times that you can run faster when you're saving fuel. My question is then, if that's the case, why don't people do that all the time?
Yeah, why wouldn't you do that all the time? If you're saving fuel and making better lap time, wouldn't you do that from lap 1?
Jason for the 5 says, any chance Suarez goes to Call League replacing Dylan or Spire replacing Haley?
Both interesting suggestions. Yeah.
I feel like Haley, though, is like worked in at Spire.
I'd hate to see Haley get given up on too quickly, because like this was his first real opportunity and he lost his crew chief 9 weeks in, and he lost his car chief, and he lost his whole pit crew. Like give the guy a minute to kind of catch his breath.
Yeah, I don't like really see him going anywhere for a while. I feel like they got their guy in that 7 now.
I could see the colleague one.
Yeah.
I could see that happening.
Sure.
Beast Metal, very generous tonight, says the DQ wave is a net negative for the sport. You're stifling innovation for the sake of parity when there's no proof parity benefits any sport. It also makes both NASCAR and the teams look stupid. I will say it is starting to kind of get annoying when literally every time I sign off from a post race, I'm having to sit on my phone for 2 hours waiting for the inspection to go through so I can see if the winner I just talked about for an hour is actually the winner.
Yeah.
So
it's becoming common. And but like the one this time was it wasn't a DQ, but the penalty was for the Xfinity series, completely different rule
on Wednesday
set from Cup. Yeah.
And it was on Wednesday it was announced too. I have to admit, and don't get me wrong, I would want more innovation. I'm not as crazy on the parity train as NASCAR is. I get it, but I do think there needs to maybe be more of that separation. But
I like, so my hot take, I'm just coming up with this on the spot, is yes, innovation, all that stuff is good if it makes the on-track racing product better, but we never see, think about it, we never see the innovation. We hear about it 20 years later. Hey, you'll never guess how we did this in
we saw the
1997.
Twisted Sisters.
I guess we saw
That
the
was
flared side skirts, but like
that wasn't side skirts. No, the end of the Gen 4 era, the Twisted Sisters, they literally warped the car to make a boomerang out of it.
Yeah, no, I get that. But I was saying also in the mid 2010s, they did like the flared out side skirts where they body slammed the door.
Yeah.
Like some of that, okay, but you see some of it. But most of the real innovation that's finding these team speed, you never see because it's all proprietary information. It's secret to keep it out from other teams' hands. And so if it's not going to make the on-track product better, I could give a rat's ass. I'm never going to see it. The fans are never going to see the innovation until, someone gets on a podcast 30 years later to talk about it. So if it doesn't make the racing better, I don't really care about what innovations are made behind the scenes. Frankly, I understand that people who work at the cars would feel the opposite, but like as a fan, spectator sport, if I can't spectate the innovation, why do I care?
My argument to that is I think that having every car run the same speed is why we're having so many of these issues with that.
So I'm saying if you can make the racing product better, good. But if it's just, we want innovation, I don't know. Yeah, that's
I'd argue the parity and stifling any kind of change in innovation. Like we've seen the last 4 years, it progressively get worse.
Sure.
I would think that it at least opening the books enough that they can do those kind of things so that there's that difference. Because if there's a difference, you can have that passing and you can have more like that. Yeah, there might be just flat out dominant runs, but at least there's some change throughout the race rather than it feels like everyone just after like the first 10 laps of a restart, we're just all sort of stuck unless somebody makes a massive aero mistake.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It makes the race like I'm all for like less parity at this point, but I don't need like the parody just for, or not the parody, but the, making changes that we're never going to actually hear about. That doesn't interest me. I want changes that are going to make the cars better or different from one another.
I get that. I just think sometimes you need those ones you can't see to get the ones you can. I don't know. It can go either way.
Do we want a run what you brung all-star race?
So that's what I'm getting as like that you would have seen. You would have seen all those changes potentially, different spoilers, different diffuse, different all this stuff. And we were robbed of that, or we didn't get that opportunity. But that's the kind of like, oh, that's innovation. You can literally see the difference from car to car. I'd be all for that.
I mean, they talked about like the whole, torque sensors and different engines coming in. I know fans don't want to hear that because there might be some V6s against V8s, but I mean, it's changing stuff and people are doing different things with different engines. I mean, that could be an option.
Sure.
Let's see. Justin Drake says, at least Kyle can beat 10-year-olds in Legends cards. Hang the banner, Kyle Busch fans. Hang the banner. He beat a 10-year-old.
He's been doing that his whole career. Xfinity and trucks.
Twin Spinner says, rather than go to San Diego, I selfishly would love to see NASCAR revive Kart's Grand Prix of Cleveland at Burke Lakefront Airport. I know Slap is a proponent of that.
I was going to say, didn't Slap do a video on that?
It's Cleveland, North Carolina.
Cleveland. God damn it! You stole what I was going to say again. Holy crap!
Oh, Jesus!
This guy's such a ball buster.
That's what the B stands for.
Danny Ballbuster.
Oh man.
Oh damn.
Chris here says, Dale Jr., Kyle, you can run the 9 car at any 5 tracks you want under one condition. I'm your crew chief and I call the shots. I can see the PR already.
He's just a warm body up there. I had to get that in before Danny said anything.
Some have said Kyle Busch is a warm body in the 8 car these days.
I think they did say that in the chat last week.
Yeah, I think they did.
505 Doom for the 5. I see what you did there. Is that a crocodile? I like it. RCR, Retirement Center Racing. We broke Danny.
Damn. He's off to bust some balls.
Oh man,
What?
you were just off busting balls.
No, I just wanted to show Michael something here. This is the only driver to ever put the Ally in victory lane at a 48. How's that feel?
That's a lie. Your whole argument just crumbled in on itself. The 2019 Bud Shootout, my friend.
Where he crashed the whole field.
Wasn't that the Paul Menard race?
Illegitimate
Paul
win.
Menard
He
race.
stole from Paul Menard. I will not take the
A win
Menard
is a win, damn it. He won in that Ally Chevy.
They got a photo in victory lane.
But at the end of the day, we don't count exhibitions, do we?
Oh man.
I will take what I can get as a Jimmy fan.
Chat. But somebody asked the chat, does the 2019 clash count?
That was rain shortened. Let's not forget it was rain shortened.
That makes it even better. Beast of Metal, another 10. One off week per year is a meat grinder. It won't even help avoid the NFL. Goodell's planning to expand both ends of their schedule. NASCAR should go back to 3 off weeks and a mid-November finale.
Can't do that if we have to push Daytona back a week.
Yeah, if we pushed Daytona back a week and then had 3 off weeks, we'd be ending after Thanksgiving.
Ho, ho, ho.
I wouldn't complain
God.
because the off season is a miserable time to make content.
Selfishly, I want them to race year round.
I can just imagine it. The one year it's like in December, and Riss is like, "Hey, what do you want? What are we doing for my birthday week?" Quiet, Riss. We're watching Homestead. She's probably gonna burst through the door and be like, "What are we doing?" Derek here says Jimmy runs less races. Legacy Motor Club runs better. Just saying.
Oh man, that's just brutal.
Michael is hurt by facts and logic.
The crying towel.
Napa Racing fan says Prime's coverage was amazing and took the sport seriously, unlike Fox. At least they had post-race. Only thing I didn't care for were Steve talking strategy with puppets. Steve is not a master of puppets. Good reference.
That's funny. Solid.
Isaac says LaJoy on Prime was actually cooking. Good for him.
Honestly, I think he found where he actually belonged.
He's pretty good behind the mic.
He could, make that money for that college fund.
Behind the mic, not behind the wheel, some might say.
Beast of Metal here says Adam Alexander's self-admitted positivity bias is a huge detriment to fair and meaningful commentary. Sometimes you just need to say the fish is foul. Well, I think it's what you got Dale and, well, maybe not Steve, but you got Dale for.
Yeah,
Dale will say it.
Yeah, that's the play-by-play guy. It's not really his job to be Joe Buck and say that was a disgusting act. That's for the color commentary to add.
I have this moment from Adam Alexander. It lives rent-free in my mind. It's etched into my brain. It was from a long ass time ago when I believe it was TNT. Wasn't he the lead on TNT before? He said, so this doesn't go along with this positivity at all. It was at Daytona. I don't remember the year. He said, Casey Mears is in the top 10. Well, that's unexpected. What the hell are you throwing shade at Casey Mears for?
Dang.
No, he's like, it's a crazy race when Casey Mears is in the top 10. I swear to you, that is exactly what he said.
Was he lying though?
I like it.
I mean, no, he's not lying, but come on, that's not positive at all.
By the way, Eric, I hear a Randy Moss reference. I must play the sounder.
Straight cash, homie.
Straight cash, homie.
Random Casey Mears memory for me. When I walked into the 2012 night race at Bristol, was still at a point where I don't remember being able to even see anything about practicing qualifying that weekend. And when I walked in and saw the Geico car on the pole, I was like, what happened last night? What I miss?
I remember that was 2012, you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember that because it was right before the end of summer break, but I had my dad let me drive back from football practice for the first time. And I was sitting on my phone right before that when he got there. And I'm like, Casey Mears is going to be on the what the hell?
I think it was because that was when qualifying got rained out, but I think practice got rained out midway through, so they could only go so far with it. He had the fastest time in practice, so that's how he got the pole.
Edible Giraffe here says, flying up to Chicago in a couple of days. What places should I check out while I'm there? Wrigley Field.
Chicagoland Speedway.
Yeah. Head on to Joliet. Just don't get out of the car in certain parts of the town. Namely, like by the interstate.
Go to the on Michigan Avenue. Go to the if you're in downtown. Go to the Ghirardelli chocolate store. They have others in the United States, but I've been there now. Amelia and I went there a few years ago, and there's this Scottish man working in there named Peter. I think he was Scottish. Maybe he's British. I think he had a Scottish accent, and he was a funny guy, just a funny guy. Anyway, I've been to Chicago once per year since then, and every year I go to the Ghirardelli store, and there's Peter in all of his great Scottish glory, helping people pick out the perfect chocolate for their Chicago experience. So if you need some chocolate, go find Peter at the Ghirardelli store in Lake Michigan on Michigan Avenue.
Why, when you just started saying he's a funny guy, why did I just think of that in the president's saying it? He's a funny guy.
He made some dirty jokes last time I talked to him. I can't remember exactly what they were off the top of my head, but he was a goofy character. Anyway, shout out to that guy, Peter.
Funny how?
He told you, made some dirty jokes.
I can't tell if it's a plane flying over, but there's thunder. I think. What the hell? There's a helicopter flying over.
I hear that.
You hear it? You can hear it through here, right?
I'm looking to see if it's a medical one because you might be.
Damn thing sounds like it just took off right next to my apartment, but I live next to a freaking forest. Well, I'm gonna go to the next super chat while you look. Okay.
Okay. There's a Chinook. It's flying over our town right now.
Yeah, I heard it.
It's a medical chopper going to pick up Casey Mears after he got bodied by Adam Alexander.
It was a Chinook. Oh my gosh, Jared, this flew directly over your apartment.
That's what I'm saying. I felt it in the walls.
Yeah, right over you.
Sean here says, I don't understand the median age for viewership. I'm 19, but using my dad's cable and Prime accounts. How many teens or young 20s have their own accounts? Well, a lot of actually college age people have their own accounts because you're able to get like different benefits on different streaming services, like stuff off and stuff like that. But in general, they do also take that into account with like how Nielsen does it. Where they'll have a lot of people fill out Nielsen surveys, who's staying in which house on average, and all the median age of houses, all that stuff too. So it's weird how they exactly measure it. It's never going to be perfect the way it's
all an estimate based on a survey size. Yeah.
But generally younger people are on Prime more often because of the shows, sports, you name it. Rather than Nielsen definitely has it with the TV, but TV is so much older. Sly Supersonic with the 549 says, I don't hate that Chase Briscoe won. I just feel with how little horsepower these cars have now, saving fuel is a lot easier than it used to be. Fair point. I mean, when you have a gas guzzler, it's probably a lot more difficult to save fuel and still run fast on top of the air.
It's probably true, yeah.
Indy Carson with the 5 says, hi, beginning in June, I was at Michigan for the truck race, only with 11 trucks, with 11 truck wrecks, hate charters, stage yellows, and elimination playoffs in Cup. Indy Carson,
dang.
Indy Carson has been
I'm out
on
swinging
this for a while.
Yeah.
Hello to my dad, who says, since you're talking music, Eric, what are your thoughts on Ghost, Call Me Little Sunshine, and their Tina Turner's We Didn't Need Another Hero?
Call Me Little Sunshine's a great song. That was a single off their second to last album.
It's very iconic to your channel because it was all over you for a little bit.
That was when I was part of the Ghost to NASCAR campaign. That was when they released that song. That was right before that album came out. So yes, they sent me, their record label sent me like the actual like MP3 of the song. And I was like, oh, this is hype. I was very excited. And yeah, they covered We Don't Need Another Hero a couple of years ago. I liked it. I like just about everything they put out. I just love the overly dramatic guitars and 80s flair with the modern production. I just like everything about how their stuff sounds. So
You with Ghost is like me with Avenged Sevenfold, where it's
Yep.
like, even if everyone doesn't like it, we're gonna find a reason to like it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know they're very polarizing because they're not metal, they're a little too pop, they're this, that, they're gimmick. I get all that 100%. I'm going to see them in a couple months for like the 7th time, so I don't care.
I
could-
see the
I could
Blue
care
Oyster
less.
Cult reference in them too. Like
Yeah,
they sound
no,
like
sure.
I get reminded of Blue Oyster Cult with Ghost.
Yeah,
I could-
Call Me
I
Little
care-
Sunshine sounds like it could be on the Metallica Black album in
Yeah.
parts. So with the way the intro is, so there's a lot of influence
Like,
there I really love.
Gimmicky bands are the best. Like you go to a Kiss show, not really but for the music, but just to see what are they going to do each song.
Oh, sure. I mean, Kiss is exactly. Kiss had gimmicks. Ozzy Osbourne in some ways was a gimmick, but they're great. They're legends. They're awesome. If you love the music,
Ozzy Osbourne is a mutant with some of the stuff he did. Like there was a test that was done, and it was found that because of like a specific genetic mutation, that's probably the only reason he survived the drugs and alcohol that he did.
Wow. Literal superhero.
I just love that clip of him where he's like, he walks out and he just goes, "Somebody stole my beer from my room." And then his wife's like, "You drank that beer. Who's the beer thief, huh?" And he just goes, That. And Michael, have you ever seen when he performed "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" at Wrigley Field?
Oh God, no! But I can imagine.
I'm showing you after the show.
Okay.
I'm gonna write it now. Ozzy. All I'm gonna write is Ozzy Cubs, and I know what I'm doing. Justin here with the 10. Next gen is an arrow brick. Don't hate the player, hate the game. True. My boy Briscoe won. Deal with it. No, I don't think
That's
anyone's hating on Briscoe.
No, nobody. Yeah, exactly.
No.
I'd be hating
it's-
if Hamlin won.
At least you're honest. Indy Carson here with the 5 says, my favorite 2025 motorsports in order are IndyCar, Indy Next, NHRA, Trucks, Xfinity, Cup, F1. Haven't watched Cup race on TV or streaming since Dega.
Damn. Well,
At
hey,
least
we
you're
got another
honest.
pack race. We got a pack race for you this weekend, Indy Carson. So
Yep,
maybe you'll
there you
tune
go.
in.
I'm fine with it, but that Indy Next one, oh my God.
Yeah, that being
That-
number
that's
2
a
is crazy.
Big Haley Deegan fan.
And 2 seconds off of the second place car per lap. Justin Drake with a hundo. Woo! My weekly grandpa skit. Ty sees Briscoe win in just 17 starts at Joe Gibbs. Grandpa, my wash. Joe Gibbs. You know what, Michael? You read it. You do this better than me.
Do I got to do the voice?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
This is NWP After Dark.
You're about to lose Ty Gibbs as a viewer. All right.
He wasn't anymore, anyways.
Anymore.
Grandpa, am I washed? Ty, you have to actually be good at first to become washed. If it weren't for me diamond spooning your ass, you'd be an ice cream truck driver.
All done in fun and parody.
You know, hey, statistics. Ooh, I got a stat to drop. He has the most starts at Joe Gibbs without a victory.
Yes.
Can I get the bell? Can I get the bell for that? That's my favorite stat.
I love that we added the sounders. Okay, twin spinner. Adam Walford, Chase Elliott, crew chief 2026.
Gonna start the season 40 points in the hole.
Yep.
Rowdy 8 Diecast. Anyone else going to Lime Rock? Should be fun. I don't think any of us
Nope.
are, but
I could,
I'm-
but what the hell do I want to sit in a thunderstorm for?
I'm dumb. Where is Lime Rock again? I don't remember.
I think Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay.
I like racing, says E.
F.
E.
He says it literally every live stream. I don't know what it means. All I respond is F.
It means E.
G?
Do you remember when memes were the point where it was just that one of Chad Farquaad and it
Yep.
just said E and everyone laughed?
Yeah.
Blake says, just discovered the Daytona night race is on my wedding night. Oh, well, I'll watch the highlights. Also, I have Byron winning the in-season tournament.
I have Blaney winning that.
The
I've never
highlights.
I got Larson 2.
I love how Eric and I have Larson, but if you watch our videos and see our predictions, it is like night and day difference with all of our reasoning and picks.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm
It's
going
just
to
that
save my prediction for Friday. Again, check out the video.
Larson has the most cupcake path to victory if he makes it past Atlanta.
I know it's like giving him his hardest opponent right off the bat. Not
Alex,
the driver, the track.
For the 5. Hey guys, what's your favorite movie paint scheme? For me, it's a tie between Kyle Busch's and Jeff Gordon's 2009 Optimus Prime for Transformers. For me, it's always going to be Dark Knight Rises because I got to see Junior win in person. I got to see Junior win in person. I don't care if the Batman logo on the front looks like a giant piece of seagull shit. I got to see it in person. It's the greatest scheme ever for all I care. It is awesome. I absolutely love it. Like I make the joke every time, but I love that scheme.
Movie paint scheme.
Yeah, a lot of the Batman ones are, I mean, I love Batman, so a lot of those, that's not my favorite. That specific one, Jarrett, wouldn't be my favorite, but there have been some other really good Batman schemes. I'm trying to think of other. I'm like blanking.
I'm going to go out on a mega limb. Jeff Gordon Motorsports, Busch Series. We had what was it? Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones?
Yeah.
Phantom Menace with Liam Neeson.
The Phantom Menace 24 car.
I have a very particular set of skills that keeps getting people.
The Madagascar 3 car. That was crazy.
You know,
my God, how couldn't I have come up with the rainbow afro wig?
You know what? Those weren't the only Transformers cars. Ryan Newman drove a really amazing Transformers car. It looked almost like a Jeff Gordon car who had Optimus Prime flames on it.
That was a good super chat, Alex. That was a good question. Chase Fan 9 for the 2 says, y'all see those AI commentary vids? Were they cut?
Yeah, we sent them to each other on Instagram.
Oh yeah. What the F is he doing? That's totally uncalled for. I thought you were talking about the AI commentary channels, like the ones on YouTube that will have like the thumbnail is like some random Indian woman in a bikini, and then it's like the title is like Bubba Wallace says this title and whatever, and I'm like,
what are you watching?
What's on your algorithm?
I'm not saying those.
I'll have to show you guys if they pop up on my algorithm again. Like it is the weirdest shit, and you can tell it's all from India and like Taiwan or wherever.
I know Facebook is getting bad of AI garbage posts just popping up everywhere for NASCAR.
You mean the Bubba one? Have you seen the Bubba one?
Which one? There's a ton of them.
The white flag.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone that believes that shit is.
I had people in my comment section who totally believed it was real.
What in the world is wrong with you? He's not trying to ban the white flag. Oh my God. People losing their minds on Facebook. First he took the Confederate flag. Now he wants to take the white flag away from us.
He's taking the French flag.
Read a book.
Justin here with the 20 says NASCAR cooking the teams that played by NASCAR's rules signed the charter deal. Shocker. That's a way to put it.
It was in the description. It was in the fine print.
SW for the 5 says the director of Top Gun Maverick says he wanted to reunite Cruise and Pitt in a crossover sequel of Days of Thunder and F1. I was like, huh? Yeah, that's Days of Thunder 2, and we have to ride F1's coattails in a freaking movie.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, then just don't make it.
That's literally Cars 2.
We already don't cross over with F1 like directly as it is. Let's not do that.
Like, dislike for the 2. Can we get a Jimmy from Michael?
Jimmy.
Beast of Metal, another 10. The charters haven't stabilized anything because teams can't turn a profit holding them. Many chartered teams have shriveled because of this, yet we're expected to believe they've returned 2,150% in on a decade.
Maybe stability wasn't the right word. If one of it, I think I said stability. Maybe I meant security, because now you have an asset you can sell. Ask BJ McLeod, who just parlayed his charter sell into a hella freaking cool looking mountain coaster in Pigeon Forge.
I'm going to try to go actually check that out in a few weeks. I'm going to go see how it is.
Chris here with the 5 says, scheduling wise, most of the independents are gone, but what about Iowa and Gateway? What market is Iowa serving that Milwaukee and Road America wasn't? Iowa is not the same. I get it's in the Midwest. Iowa is not the same as Wisconsin. Trust me. It is not. If anything, it's much closer to a Kansas City market than it would be any in Wisconsin. Maybe it's serving the Minnesota market. I guess that might be one. But I'm all for getting Road America back one day. That place is a blast to be at in person. Justin says random driver of the week likes to hunt, is a cattle farmer. In my mind, he's a Dutton.
Isn't there a Dutton? Wait, isn't there someone in the truck series with that last name?
There's
Sutton.
Dawson
Sutton. That's
he races
Dawson. There's the D.
Justin says, hi, Eric, Moobs, and the other 2 goobers. Hey, we're goobers now.
Damn.
Yay!
Wow, I got mentioned.
Our band name.
I'm a goofy goober.
Yeah. The Racing Rail fan for the 10 says, what's good, NWP fam? I gotta be in Nashville this weekend
Ooh.
for a wedding, and it's on Friday, but Saturday is my birthday, and I'm going to the Lionel store and the fairgrounds for the first time. Awesome.
Have fun in there.
Have fun, and if you want to find a good place to rail fan, you can go check out the Nashville National Cemetery. It's a good place to catch some trains while you're here.
And if you see John, wave at him. He's going to be up in the commentary booth for the fairgrounds again. Obviously, he's a lead commentator. Gia NASCAR fan with the 5. NASCAR revamp crew chief suspension rule. You have to physically watch the race from race control or R&D in Concord or on Zoom. If not, no credit for suspension. Honestly, that would probably be a good way to deter more issues because
Put him in a penalty box
It'd
up in
be
race
like
control.
detention hall.
Yeah.
it'd be funny though. Watching a bunch of grown men have to go to detention.
You have to write like 1,000 times on the chalkboard. I will not flare out the.
I will not keep messing with the deck lid. I will
Defenders,
not
the
keep
deck
messing
lid.
with the deck lid.
I think we just gave Michael a new skit idea.
I think we did.
Yeah, I'm taking notes this entire time.
Napa Racing fan for the 5. Remember when Rutledge Wood disappeared from NASCAR broadcast forever after they showed the Dawsonville?
I remember
40
that.
times.
And I remember tweeting and then feeling bad about it because I was like, why do we keep like just slowly inching him further and further away from the track? Next week is just going to be like gone or something like that. And then he was.
He printed this shirt. That's what he doesn't have a job anymore, so he's just printed shirts.
They didn't let him leave Dawsonville.
Yeah.
Like
Once you go there, you never leave.
During that time span, they would have him literally anywhere but the racetrack, and then all of a sudden he's definitely anywhere but the racetrack.
I liked Rutledge as a guy, like as a person. I met him. He's a really cool person, but it was totally the right call taking him off those broadcasts.
He was best utilized on Speed Channel. Speed Rutledge Wood was amazing.
NASCAR Smarts. The game show. No, nobody.
That's right. Yeah.
I dreamt of being on there. I would have had a perfect score.
Immortal for the 5 says, it's crazy that F1 is making the same mistakes as NASCAR. All they need is a playoff system, and they made the same mistake. They tried it at one point. They tried something similar, but drivers basically revolted. Zuck says, Jimmy is the GOAT.
There you go.
100%.
Gian NASCAR fan says, anyone seen Jackster Fett 2 had me in stitches? Watch. That's the one we were talking about, I think, right? The one where they're do the AI of Mike Joy and them.
Commentators.
Yep. I think we're getting closer to the end here. Race Hell Praise Dale for the 5 says, favorite part of the prime coverage was whenever try to introduce Carl as Hall of Fame legend and Corey LaJoy. That's Corey LaJoy. Corey always looked pissed and jealous. That was funny. We got Hall of Fame and legend Carl Edwards, and Corey LaJoy is here.
At least they're not saying, here's Randy LaJoy's son.
Here's this stack of pennies sitting next to us.
Yeah, no, I picked that up too. It's like in the inside the NBA where it's like, here's 3-time MVP, 4-time champion Shaq and Kenny Smith.
Derek here says, hot take, Riley Herbst replaces Ware in the 51. He raced part-time in the 15 the last couple of years, and Ware's nepotistic ass is god-awful. I doubt that.
I have
did.
a tinfoil hat theory that this is one and done for Riley, and they're going to make room for Heim time in the Cup Series for 23-11 next year.
Oof.
If they don't, Legacy is going to steal them. And that's why they're going so hard for this Rick Ware charter, because they want Heim time.
Could be. I'd like to see Hyman Cup next year. I think if we put a poll on that in the chat, I think they'd all say, yeah, put Hyman Cup.
Yeah, I don't think I even need to make that poll.
Well, now that could open up a whole new discussion, because I look at Heim and Zilich on similar sort of wavelengths.
Heim's just a few years older, but yes, I think they will both be very good. Like they're like the top two prospects right now.
Like as in ready for Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alex here says, shoot, I just remembered Ryan Newman was Optimus Prime. Jeff Gordon was Megatron.
I need to look up this scheme.
Yes.
Charlotte, 2009.
Heather's here says, I love y'all's videos. Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Justin Drake for the 20 says, Ryan Newman wasn't sponsored by Transformers. Transformers sponsored him twice, 2003 and 2020. Are we talking about his Daytona flips?
I was about to say, is it we talking about with the car
Damn.
transform? Because that's a little dark.
I'm gonna turn
Crazy.
into a truck now. Back it in, back it on. Let me begin. West Virginia for the 10 says, missed the stream due to work, but hope everyone had fun. We are having fun. We're
It's a 3-hour plus show.
having fun.
we are having lots of fun. And Steven,
We told Michael at the beginning that we usually go 3 hours now these days. So,
well, Steven, thank you for the 5. Says, thank you guys for everything y'all do for the NASCAR community and for letting us people or letting us have people to talk to racing about. I'm sorry, I'm butchering this. I apologize. Good night, guys. Good night.
Thank you.
Need that one kid who's like, when you
Do you ever think when you
Well, that's actually, that was Jarrett as a kid.
Did you ever have a dream that, when you,
one of those, where are those memes now? And it's like, that kid grew up to be the iceberg.
Surprise! Real quick, we had one thing, and I'm going to add in really quick at the end. Oh, and thank you to Daniels here saying, enjoyed hearing Eric on PRN last week. Proud fan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah, I knew that aired. I think it was on their channels, but yeah, no, Doug Rice invited me on. That was really fun to kind of do a little 20, 30 minute spot with them after Mexico City. So I'm glad people enjoyed that.
Really quick. I think we were supposed to do it after the lightning round or something like that, and we just kept rolling. Want to give a shout out to Brendan Lyons, B Lyons Designs, for 2 really cool paint schemes he made, combining like 2 different eras of sponsored cars.
Those are banging.
Let's see. I don't think, you know what? Hold on 1 second. We're going to do this.
Wow.
There. All right. You can hear me. So the first one here is a combination of Kevin Harvick and Dale
Pizza Hut
Jr.'s
and Taco Bell.
Freaking hot.
It's a combination of Dale Jr. and Kevin Harvick's Budweiser schemes, which
that would have been so amazing if they ran that.
Yeah, that does look nice.
And then the other one is a combination of Matt Kenseth and Marcus Ambrose's DeWalt schemes.
Ooh.
And that one looks pretty hot too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's at B Lions Designs, if I'm correct.
It's on the picture there. I see it.
It's also on the picture. Give them a follow. Badass designs in every way. Wanted to give them a shout out this week because it's just, again, just awesome designs. And howdy, John. Howdy. And then last one here from Spencer said, thank you guys for making Wednesdays a lot of fun each week. As Christopher Bell once said, this is fun. We're having fun, and fun we had, fun we will, and fun we shall.
Well said,
Perfect.
Spencer.
A lot of
This is
fun.
We're having fun.
Very fun way to go about it this week, and appreciate all the super chats and all of the chats, no matter what. We appreciate all of you guys out there. Michael, we appreciate you for bearing with us on the Gauntlet show tonight.
Nah, I'm good. I'm used to streaming 5 hours.
I know, but still, it's like you have to deal with us yapping the whole time. I guess let everyone know who isn't in the know for some reason. Where can people find you?
All right. So yeah, my YouTube channel, Michael Mrucz, Mrucz. People call me Michael Moobs because YouTube auto-corrected my last name to Moobs one time in the closed captioning. So that kind of stuck, unfortunately. Yeah, I do NASCAR gaming a lot, current events in YouTube shorts with NASCAR history stuff. I kind of cover all the bases in terms of NASCAR. And yeah, thank you guys for having me on. Danny B, the B stands for Ballbuster, and he stole Bobby Dale from me.
Well, we appreciate it either way. I think Danny appreciates it most after tonight. Next week, we will be again on Danny's channel, July 2nd, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Going to be a lot of fun getting everybody ready for Chicago. Maybe the last one ever.
Join us on Danny Ballbuster Talks next week.
At least he finally admits it.
All right. That's a great way to end off. Thank you guys so much for watching at home. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. We will see you soon. Later, y'all. Bye.
Started off right, pal.
Right on, come on. Get outside. Rewind.
Unbelievable.
Where you playing? We're going. I like the aggressor. We probably got the great car. You can go to all those guys up there. They can suck it.
What we're about to do is not a good idea.
All good. What is he doing? You gotta be kidding me.
Half the pack is flying apart.
It's so nice to see you the one.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Come. Coming white.
Hello. Come back on him.